evaluasi bila mana diperlukan. Jadi per hari ada item-item atau ada negosiator-negosiator tertentu, ada kelompok negosiator tertentu yang harus kita rumuskan bersama, mari kita rapatkan. Kita memiliki meeting room yang akan digunakan untuk langkah-langkah bilateral maupun unilateral, tetapi kita juga di sebelahnya sepertinya ada ruang delegasi. Jadi alangkah baiknya selesai misi ataupun mendekati selesai misi, kita saling melakukan review dari kegiatan harian kita atau ke depan kita akan seperti apa. Atau ada langkah-langkah seumpama pada saat teman-teman melakukan tugas-tugas diplomasi, ada hal-hal yang harus diketemukan oleh ketua delegasi, saya sangat membuka peluang selebar-lebarnya. Jadi mau teman-teman dari dalam negeri maupun teman-teman dari luar negeri, kita akan membuka pintu selebar-lebarnya untuk diskusi untuk Indonesia, termasuk tidak terkecuali CSO. Jadi CSO yang akan kita ini kan tidak masalah, jadi kita terbuka lebar, kita membuka pintu sebaik-baiknya untuk perbaikan tata kelola negara kita. Jadi insya Allah dengan tekad ini, maka kita akan memiliki perspektif yang saling melengkapi. Terlebih jauh bahwa kita telah berkomitmen mendorong adanya potensial perdagangan karbon. Jadi saya minta semuanya mengarah ke sana ya, dari diskusi person to person ataupun person per unilateral, maka mengarah kepada bahwa kita memiliki potensial karbon yang tinggi, jangan lupa disampaikan. Karena harapan saya kita tidak hanya datang di dalam soft diplomasi, tetapi membawa pulang komitmen-komitmen perdagangan karbon yang relatif cukup tinggi. Saya rasa itu nanti session kalau nggak salah ada 50 session di pavilion, nanti juga kalau nanti dilengkapi, pasti tidak sempurna, maka kita membuka ruang untuk diskusi di meeting room yang bisa mendorong bilateral. Bilateral ini konteksnya tidak harus negara, antara kita dengan swasta itu juga namanya bilateral. Jadi itu yang kita dorong. Kemudian untuk teman-teman fokus kerja di sisi negosiator, kita menyiapkan ruangan khusus Delri. Jadi Delri kita akan bersama-sama di sana. Terima kasih, saya rasa demikian ya. Ini kita akan minta ini siapa yang paling ini ya. Bu Sebah. Sebelum acara Pak Adi memimpin doa kita bersama ya. Mudah-mudahan ada apa yang kita lakukan tidak ada aral melintang dan mendapat manfaat. Ini Pak Adi, staf ahli Menteri Bidang Biodiversity dan Energi akan memimpin doa kita bersama. Doanya cara agamanya terserah Pak Adi nih. Terima kasih ya.
Makasih Pak Menteri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Buen dia, good morning, selamat pagi. Kita nunduk kepada sejenak untuk doa, untuk kelancaran dan kesuksesan dari misi kita di negosiasi dan juga Pavilion Indonesia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Doa mulai. Kasih. Berdoa selesai. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kita berikan apresiasi sekali lagi untuk Pak Menteri yang pagi-pagi sudah menyampaikan arahan sehingga kita semua tahu bergerak untuk satu tujuan sesuai apa yang baru saja disampaikan Pak Menteri. Terima kasih. Enggak, belum bisa Pak, santai dulu aja. Mau jalan-jalan jam 10.
Jam 10?
Iya. Harusnya, tapi belum siap secara teknis.
Kenapa itu moderatornya udah setengah senior?
Lagi kayaknya udah kecapnya udah nitip kecap.
Apa Bu? Emang 12 hari tanpa Belum apa-apa udah. Wah, ceplok pakai kecap. Udah ngingetin.
Tunggu siapa ini?
Nah, kita belum siap. Pak, jadi si ini settingnya 14 menit
Ini yang OJK.
sama OJK. Jadi nanti
14 menit?
kita 5 menit kita kata sudah ya.
Ini kan 15-15 loh datanya memang. Iya. 15 terus kan tidak. Jadi waktu cuma sejam aja.
Ya.
Kan lama-lama.
Ya ini juga nggak usah lama-lama.
Ya iya. Kan 15 menit 30 ini ya 10 menit.
To be back again, this time in Brazil. And we have a slightly different rule of game today. So it will be different from the previous times as we're going to have a strategic dialogue and then followed by the opening ceremony of Indonesia Pavilion. So I guess, are we all ready? Well, let's have a bit of warm up prior to the arrival of all the excellencies. So to kick off the first program in Indonesia Pavilion, we have a dialogue titling Indonesia Carbon Market Outlook, Enhancing Indonesia Carbon Market Integrity and Transparency. So when we talk about the economic value of carbon, it's become a new source of income for Indonesia. It's a new pillar amidst the government's effort to boost revenue from other instruments such as tax, duties, and customs. And the issuance of Indonesia Presidential Regulations number 110 of 2025 facilitates and clarifies the provision regarding the economic value of carbon. And the soon-to-be launched STRUCK, which I believe stands for System Registry Unit Carbon, will also lay a firm groundwork for a robust and globally connected carbon market. So the questions, how to attract more buyers, possibly international buyers, and how to overcome challenges like lack liquidity and transparency in the market, as well as the methodologies, standardizations that might vary, especially in the voluntary market? And would it be possible to double up the volume of transactions after the COP30? So I will invite 3 speakers to come to the stage. Actually 2, one is online. The first one is the Director of Business Development of Indonesia Stock Exchange, Bapak Jeffrey Hendrik. I heard you just landed, Pak. I wish you are ready for your presentation. And by the way, congratulations. I read somewhere that IDX Carbon won the best carbon exchange in emerging market. Okay, well done. And the next speaker, he is the Director for Carbon Pricing Governance, Deputy of Climate Change and Carbon Governance, Ministry of Indonesia, Bapak Wahyu Marjaka. We have another speaker. He is the Head of Special Examination, Derivative Financial Carbon Exchange Supervision, Securities Transaction Department, Financial Services Authority Indonesia. I know it's a mouthful. Who is going to deliver his presentation online through a pre-recorded video. So to lead the session, I would kindly invite our moderator, and I'm searching for him, Pak Agus Pambagio. He's the Senior Expert Advisor to the Minister of Indonesia. Ah, he's here. Silakan, Pak.
Thank you, Mona. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Indonesian Pavilion on COP20 in Berlin, Brazil. So, if we're talking about the carbon markets, it seems a lot of people don't know exactly what is the carbon market. But people are having a lot of expectation on the carbon market. So, we will have more detailed explanation based on the regulatory and also particularly from IDX. So to make discussion more effective rather than I'm talking by myself, so I'll just I think I don't need to introduce again, right? These three speakers you already mentioned. Okay. So the other, yeah, okay. So I think, I don't know, but you just arrived, right? So you still need time to relax, or you will be have the. All right. So I think I give you time. To ask the first speakers, and then who's the second one is in Bali, and also Pak Wahyu. Okay, time. The floor is yours, Pak. It's about 15 minutes. It's up to you. You want to sit there, or you can stand
Check.
here.
Check.
The microphone over there.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Agus. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be quite short because I believe that everybody here travel a long journey before arrive. I'll be speaking purely on the market perspective. As we know that the Indonesia Carbon Exchange is part of Indonesia Stock Exchange. By Indonesian law, carbon unit is a securities and is under the regulation of the Financial Service Authority. And if we see the trend in the global carbon exchange, until now we can detect that at least 20 carbon exchange exists globally. In comparison to the equity exchange that currently now is more than 80 stock exchange around the world. And why we put Indonesia Carbon Exchange within the Indonesia Stock Exchange because of our experience. We experienced for more than 33 years in conducting Indonesia exchange. Now Indonesia Stock Exchange is one of the billion-dollar exchange. Every day we trade at least $1 billion, less than 20 traded more than $1 billion every day. And if we see in ASEAN, there are only 4 carbon exchange conducted by their respected securities exchange. Indonesia, Malaysia, and 2 in Singapore. And we're here today to share our belief in Indonesia potential in our carbon economic value and how Indonesia Carbon Exchange can support Indonesia to unlock the very fully potential of Indonesia carbon economic value. We believe that with orderly, fair, and efficient market process, we can reach that objective. Yeah, that's our mandate as a market operator, is to conduct an orderly, fair, and efficient market. And to achieve an efficient market, for sure, we need a deep market by means that we have enough demand and supply participate in our market in order to realize a fairly and efficient price discovery. That's what we have been doing for the last 33 years for our securities exchange. So for our carbon exchange, will be no difference. We will do the same to make sure that our carbon exchange will be in orderly, fair, and efficient market process. And we're here to convey the message that IDX Carbon is ready to serve whatever your needs in carbon trading in Indonesia, whether you are in the demand side or you are at the supply side. We are ready to serve you for your needs. All market mechanism and our platform is built on the latest technology, and the acknowledgement is not only from Indonesia, but we acknowledge globally. Last June, we have been awarded as the best official carbon exchange in the emerging economy. Thanks to our infrastructure and our financial service authority, as well as the ministry regulation platform. So I think that's more or less for the opening. I'll stop here and we can discuss later, and looking forward for you to join IDX Carbon. Thank you, Pak Agus.
Thank you, Pak Jeffrey. So I think giving applause to him. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm going to ask Pak Nyoman Sukayasa, right? This second and showing the video from here. Pak Nyoman Sukayasa is head of social examination, derivative financial carbon exchange supervision and securities transaction department from OJK. Can we start the video? Oh. Pak Nyoman is from Indonesian Financial Service Authority, or OJK. Or we can start with Pak Wahyu, right? Okay, rather than we just waiting Pak Nyoman, so I better start with Pak Wahyu to start the presentation, and giving applause to him before we start. Thank you. Pak
Well,
Wahyu.
thank you very much. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In this occasion, I would like to share the updates of carbon pricing policy in Indonesia. I would like to share this very important because this is figure out the transition within a year, until today. So before we starting with the updated situation of Indonesia, I would like to show you the Indonesian profile that we already have, that could be benchmark for Indonesian policy. We have share of the global greenhouse gas emission around 3.1%, and the conditional 43.2% conditional emission reduction target by 2030, and also we have 103 climate vulnerability index ranking in the world, and 114 human development index ranking. Using these benchmarks, actually, we also considering the situation that we already submitted enhanced NDC in September 2022. This is the important thing, that we look this situation and checking with the submission of the second NDC, or we call it NDC 3.0. So it means this is very important because Indonesia right now have a position very strategic in the global position. So in this occasion, I would like to share the key output regarding the updates of the policy in Indonesia, that international carbon market cooperation is very important for Indonesia, especially when we talk about Article 6 and ETS linking. And carbon market that already explained by Pak Jeffrey, good governance and carbon trading. And the second one, we, in the last year, aligning Indonesian crediting scheme, we have Indonesian SPEI, National Register System, to recognize international crediting scheme. As we understand that Indonesia already have two platforms, domestic carbon market that generated by the Perpres 98 by years 2022, and last January we already started also with the international carbon market that launched by the minister. This transition actually figure out communication and aligning that we call in voluntary carbon market and compliance-based market that we already started last January, and in the future we will strengthen the position both option. The next, this is very important for Indonesia actually. We call that Indonesia bring a value to global. This is very important. We develop robust and transparent carbon credit regulation to ensure actually how the environmental integrity of the carbon itself can be achieved. The second one, carbon credibility and investor confidence. This is very important. Actually, we have a lot of supply, but we have to check the investment could be invest in Indonesia, and based on this, we have to raise the confidence of the investment. The third one is prevention of double counting, of course, because we are we commit to the transparency, and we develop the robust tracking registry system. And the fourth, ensuring social and environmental safeguard and supporting climate goals. These need to be harmonized each other. So that's why within the years we develop mutual recognition between SPEI and other crediting mechanism. Why Indonesia bring this issue? Because there are some benefit that we can get to achieve. The first one, increase access to carbon market. The second one, enhance investment. The third one, technical transfer. We need technical transfer for Indonesia because the readiness of every sector NDC is different, and the strengthening climate action. This is very important because we submitted NDC 3.0 that need to strengthen climate action. However, we need to make sure and how we can facing challenges. How we ensuring environmental integrity is very important. The second one, harmonization of standard. We try to rise up the standard of that we use in Indonesia to international standard. And of course, the third one, the challenges regarding transparency and accountability. To do this, we have a piloting and we have agreement. For example, we call it when we talk about the Article 6, for example, it was we have signed up with the Norway, for example, to implementation. That we started developing Article 6.2 platform in a renewable energy context. The second one, crediting mechanisms are in a renewable energy and industrial scheme, generated mutual investment B2B, especially in energy sector. We started with the Article 6 with this bilateral agreement. And this occasion actually, we try to target to sign up the MOPA. However, we have to check the readiness, the both stakeholder, for example, in the Norway side and the entity in Indonesia. And we use the GBI and TS development started after signing bilateral on May 2025. Why we started with Norway? Why we selecting the policy implementation like that and the update? We need to achieve emission reduction certainty. The second one, suitability to cover wide range of sector, not only in NBS, but the tech-based, technology-based. And the strategy we choose to ease of implementation, investor certainty or ability to attract investment is required, international linkage possibility, alignment with international requirement and framework, protection from carbon leakage risk, and the release of cost burden of industry that maybe need to be considered in the investor side, independence from the government funding. So this is very good, important for us, and potential for public acceptance. This is the update, the carbon price that we developed within the years. We supported by partners, and we developed the framework and the governance. The first one important thing is a DNA, Designated National Authority. The second one is National Carbon Market Framework. There are national context, guiding principle, eligibility criteria, additional sustainability criteria, authorization criteria, and the others. And of course, we try with this scheme that we already signed, for example, the Article 6.2 bilateral between Indonesia and Japan, And the second one, Article 6.4, UNFCCC's centralized scheme, clean development mechanism that already and put in place. This is very important in Indonesia. However, Indonesia is still open to have a collaboration with international partners. The second one, on the infrastructure, actually, we will updated carbon registration system and transaction registration. We call it, this is the mandated that we already given by regulation, President Regulation number 110. And mechanism for carbon unit certification and methodology MRV panel team, validation and verification. And also we develop any kind of procedure operational, how we identification or eligibility mitigation activity, etc. This actually, we try to match with that we already been done previous year, that we developed the mutual recognition agreement with this SPE. We already signed some with the International Crediting Scheme. Also, we talked regarding this to Integrity Council for Voluntary Carbon Market, that we need to explore in more detail to increase the high integrity and the criteria. And of course, we try to implement with the bilateral agreement between Indonesia and Japan and a voluntary carbon market initiative. This is very important in Indonesia. Yes, thank you very much. Actually, that we can share the update the last year, and hopefully we can discuss in more detail in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Ayu. Video, the video is ready. I'm sorry, I apologize for this inconvenience because it's, excuse me.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all,
Yeah, I
I
think
would
you
like
turn on
to
the video
express
right
my
now.
appreciation
Pak
to the
Nyom.
distinguished speakers and our audience that attend this panel session, so that today we could discuss an important topic,
This is a
accelerating
video from
substantial
Pak Inyoman
actions of net zero
Sukayasa, is from
achievement
the OJK,
through Indonesia High
Financial
Integrity Carbon.
Services Authority. They would come.
This is a timely topic as
Okay.
it is closely aligned with the theme of the ongoing COP30, focusing on climate action for people and nature. It is an honor to represent the Financial Service Authority of Indonesia, OJK Indonesia, and to address this esteemed assembly at COP30, a vital platform where the world unites it resolved to confront the existential challenge of climate change. We extend our sincere appreciation to the high level of representation from the various ministries, private sector entities, and key stakeholders whose collective commitment is instrumental to this initiative. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to briefly update on the carbon trading through the Carbon Exchange Indonesia. I would like to go to the slide 2, regulatory framework of carbon trading in Indonesia. This commitment to the Paris Agreement has been legally ratified into Law Number 16/2016 and followed by presidential regulation that has been newly updated into Presidential Regulation Number 110/2025 regarding the implementation of carbon economic value and (NEC) instruments and national greenhouse gas (GHG) emission control. This regulation serves as the ground rules for national implementation of the carbon economic value that includes carbon trading, result-based payment, carbon tax, and other mechanisms. The government also provides technical regulation that will be updated on each sectoral ministries that mandates the implementation. In carbon trading implementation, the Indonesian government through Law Number 4/2023 has mandated that carbon units are considered as financial securities and that OJK Indonesia has the responsibility to regulate, license, supervise and develop carbon trading through the carbon exchange to ensure that the market operates is licensed and the transactions are done fair and orderly. OJK then issues OJK Regulation Number 14, 2023 as the technical rules for the carbon exchange operation, and in September 2023, Indonesia officially launched its carbon exchange, IDX Carbon, a historic step in our carbon market development. We go to slide number 3, Regulation and OJK Regulation Number 14, 2023. Looking into OJK Regulation Number 14 of 2023, under this regulation, OJK oversees licensing, supervision, and supervision and governance of the carbon market. Carbon exchange operators must be licensed by OJK. Carbon units shall be first registered in both the national registry system and the carbon exchange system. And based on the latest presidential regulation, the opportunities for the international registries widened. The regulation also opportunities for international carbon units to be traded in Indonesia, as long as they comply with the regulations. This ensures our market can integrate with global carbon mechanism and attract international investors. Furtherly, the regulation governs the institutional aspect of the carbon exchange and the scope of supervision by OJK. This year, OJK has conducted institutional supervisory compliance to ensure that the operation under the carbon exchange are done in accordance to all regulations and to look for continuous improvement. We go through to carbon trading ecosystem. Here, we can see the overall ecosystem of carbon trading in Indonesia. The process involves various institutions, the Ministry of Environment, technical ministers, regulated installations, and project developers. In accordance with the law, we put into perspective that primary market is where the carbon units are registered, issued, and continued with monitoring through the carbon unit registration system. This includes carbon units for compliance, emission quotes, and the carbon offset units, SPA, GRK, and non-SPA, GRK. Whereas the secondary market focuses on transactions that happen on the carbon exchange. To ensure data integrity, the system at the carbon exchange has been connected to the national registry, so that every transaction and retirement that happens to exchange can be traced. This avoids fraudulent transaction and double countings. OJK plays a key role in supervising the secondary market through the carbon exchange, ensure that the operation of the carbon exchange as well as the credibility and transparency of transaction. Next to carbon exchange and trading supervisory framework. OJK issues licenses, conducts both off-site and on-site supervision, market surveillance, and perform investigation where needed. This comprehensive oversight ensures that all trading activities comply with national regulation and maintain the credibility of Indonesia financial and environmental markets. For the carbon market update, now let's look at the progress of Indonesia's carbon market. Since its launch in September 2023, the market has shown rapid growth. As of November 2025, the Indonesia Carbon Exchange recorded a total of 1,675,75 tons of CO2 equivalent emission reduction certificate traded with a transaction value around IDR 78.50 billion. There are 8 SPA projects listed on the carbon exchange, resulting in a total carbon unit registration of 3.6 million tons CO2 equivalent. To date, there are 138 users of the carbon exchange. Moving forward, Indonesia still has a lot of potential for projects to be issued and growing market demands domestically and internationally. With the latest presidential regulation that is aimed to strengthen market participation, we are ready to welcome more participations and collaboration from governments, project developers, and key stakeholders around the world. We move to register projects and users in carbon exchange. To provide a better picture from the current update in the carbon exchange, there are 138 registered users of carbon exchange, including 3 international participants, 2 from Singapore and 1 from the United States. And the rest comes from different provinces around Indonesia. This shows inclusive market participations. 8 projects have issued GHG emission certificate located across 7 provinces in Indonesia. This diversity demonstrates how our carbon market connects multiple regions and sectors and how it is starting to attract global attention. OJK is taking several key steps to strengthen Indonesia's carbon exchange and support sustainable finance. OJK focus on capacity building through seminars, workshops, and training programs for supervisors and financial institutions. In addition, it collaborates with the carbon exchange operator and relevant ministries to organize coaching clinics that bring together project developers and potential buyers, aiming to support carbon trading activities, particularly in various regions across Indonesia. Furthermore, OJK also develops a guideline book on understanding carbon trading for financial institutions, providing practical insights into regulatory framework, market mechanism, and risk assessment to strengthen the role of the financial sectors in supporting carbon market development and sustainable finance implementation in Indonesia. OJK promotes national coordination by working with relevant ministries and stakeholders to align policies and create synergy in developing Indonesia's carbon market. And to enhance carbon market developments, OJK conducts policy innovations and regulatory development to ensure transparency, integrity, and alignment with the international best practice, help boost market credibility and participation from the financial sectors. Overall, this initiative demonstrates OJK's strong commitment to building a credible and transparent carbon market that support Indonesia's transition toward a green economy. We now see the challenge and opportunity for carbon trading's development. Indonesia faces both challenges and opportunities in developing its carbon markets. Among the opportunities is the potential for international trading, as we welcome greater opportunities for global standards, while we have also made cooperation agreements with several global registries. Indonesia has strong potential to play a more robust role in the global carbon market due to its natural resources and commitment. Product standardization is also key to ensuring our carbon units are recognized globally. On the other hand, the challenges include the need to expand carbon trading across all sectors, enhance interoperability between domestic and international carbon markets, and develop more nature-based carbon products to be registered on the exchange. With its abundant natural resource and strong regulatory commitment, Indonesia is well positioned to become a leading player in the global carbon markets. To conclude, through strong supervision, transparent system, and active collaboration, OJK and Indonesia are paving the way for credible and competitive carbon markets. Guided by sound regulation and close institutional collaboration, our efforts go beyond national boundaries and open pathways for deeper international cooperation and shared climate impact. Thank you for your attention. and for your continued support in advancing global climate solution.
Thank you, Pak Nyoman. Thank you. Applause to Pak Nyoman. Yeah, I think the market for the carbon markets in Indonesia is now developing, and in terms of the players, is from the IDX and the regulatory from Pawayu, from Ministry of Environment, and also the financial supporting from OJK. So we still have 15 minutes left. So if anybody can, I give 3 questions from the floor. That goes to these 2 gentlemen, because the one is through video, they cannot answer your question. Is any other question? This is our future trading. Carbon market is for our future trading, and in the market, I mean one. Okay, you can go. The speaker, I mean the mic. It's not really good. Just tell your name and the origin. Let's give it to him. Okay, go ahead, sir. The mic, please.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Okay.
My name is Hamilton Machado. I'm the president of ANDP. the National-
ANDP.
Yeah.
Okay.
And congratulations, the speakers, that wonderful presentations. But my question is about the blue carbon. Because here in Brazil, we don't have this kind of project. And we need to implement this kind of project here. And I want to understand a little bit how you use these and the market about the blue carbon in Indonesia.
Okay, it goes to those 2 for both speakers?
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's better I explain this a little bit more. I want to understand the blue carbon projects, the NBS blue carbon projects, and the market about this kind of carbon credits. Now it's clear?
It's NBS and blue carbon, and if you're talking about the demand, right, for these projects?
Okay, maybe from our market perspective, I can give you the illustration that we start our carbon exchange 2 years ago, and we start with our domestic market. So our closest ecosystem is our listed company, 950 plus listed company. So we conduct an event that we call it a net zero incubation. We equip our listed company with awareness, knowledge, how they can calculate their emission and how they can be responsible for that. And then they become our early participants in the demand side. From the supply side, we have several projects approved by the ministry and traded in our exchange. So basically, whatever carbon credit approved by our government, it can be traded in our exchange. I hope that answer your question.
Oke. Mic-nya ada nggak? Ini suaranya jelek banget.
Sorry, Mas.
Thank you, Pak Agus, for the opportunity. Yeah,
I have a questions regarding the bilateral agreement or the carbon credit under 6.2. We have discussed with Pak Wahyu and also the Norwegian government on these matters, but what would be the involvement of IDX Carbon in this kind of transaction? Because this is between, for example, between PLN and the Norwegian. So what would be the role of IDX Carbon? Thank
This
you.
is from PLN, Mbak. We can support whatever your needs, Ibu. If you want to trade in the regular market, negotiated market, marketplace, or even auction, our system can support you. So, and for the demand side, last week we just launched our new regulation for the KYC process. So for foreign participants, it will be more simple to join us. We don't request longer Indonesia account, but whatever account that can be connected to Indonesia system can use participant of our carbon exchange.
Is okay? Is any additional, Pak? Sorry, is the
I think I would like some
Pak
information regarding the Article 6.2. Yes, we already started negotiate with the Norway and PLN already involved in the negotiation. And the deal is how we can create the supply from the PLN renewable energy side to be traded, can be traded in the platform and the platform of Article 6.2. Of course, yes, the priority within 2 years, the next 2 years, maybe we have to prepare it in the platform of Article 6.2. It must transfer regulated by the GBI system in the Norway bilateral agreement. And after that, after we achieve, of course, there are some possibility and an opportunity to be traded also in the IDX Carbon. So we have two choices here. Thank you.
Okay, this is good. Any other? Oh, okay.
Hello, thank you very much for excellent
No.
presentation. Tom Owen Edmonds with the World Resources Institute.
Okay.
Firstly, congratulations on your award for getting the best carbon exchange. And congratulations to Indonesia for passing Perpres 110, 2025, a fantastic achievement. The whole world's been watching Indonesia, as they always do, and following your lead. A quick question around forest carbon. What more can be done to encourage the production of forest carbon credits? And what's your anticipation of the volume that might be achieved and the price? Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Pak Wahyu, yeah?
I have a little experience and knowledge regarding the forest carbon, but in our institution actually, we have communicated to the sectoral, for example, forestry sector to make sure that every supply can be regulated, perform better than previous regulation. This is the first one. The second one, we have to make sure the high integrity of the sectoral and then be transferred to the in our SRN to be traded internationally. So it means this is a long way to make sure every step in the sectoral regulation and also in the national focal point. So it means we will have a collaborated in more detail to sectoral forestry sector. It means how they identified, how they prepare the situation of the credit, how they meet the regulation criteria, everything. After finish that, they will communicate it with us and transfer to the to SRN and or a non-SPE, for example, FERA or others, and we can use it for transaction internationally.
Pak Jeffrey, is there any additional?
I think, Tom, we are waiting for the same thing in IDX. We are also looking for the forestry credits and also from other sectors. So we are also ready to be integrated and connected to all the demand and supply sides in means projects and international registry to ease all the transaction process.
Okay, thank you, Pak Jeffrey and Pak Wahyu. Is there any other question?
Pak Apam, allow me to intercept. So
Sure.
we've been talking about the carbon trading development in the Indonesia carbon market through the exchange. I wonder if any one of you are curious and have questions, what type of projects that's available to trade? Possibly, Pak Jeffrey, have a short video that you want us to play, so to give a better idea about the projects that's available.
Yes, please, it's allowed, please.
Yeah, please turn the video. Well, this carbon market is very interesting. It's going to be, the future business in the world.
Indonesia, one of the world's most biodiverse nations, is taking bold steps toward a sustainable, low-carbon future. Through the Indonesia Carbon Credit Project, we highlight innovative initiatives from across the archipelago, from renewable energy to carbon capture, from reforestation to energy efficiency, all contributing to our national and global climate goals. These projects are driven by collaboration between government, private sector, and local communities under the framework of IDX Carbon. Join us at Indonesia Pavilion, COP2T Amazonia, from 11th to 20th November 2025, where sellers meet buyers and where sustainability meets opportunity. Submit your expression of interest today to explore opportunities in Indonesia's carbon projects.
Very good. So, is there any other questions? We still have a few minutes. Okay, I think okay, cut. So I think I just make a small summarize on this thing that Indonesia is ready to doing carbon markets. Okay, and the regulatory body is ready, and the market, the IDX is ready, and also the OJK who's also ready for the regulation on the carbon market. So I think no worry about trading carbon with us in Indonesia. Thank you very much for your attention, and I get back to Mona to
Thank you.
introduce. And
Thank
I
you.
apologize for this inconvenience, temperature.
This is the
mic
first
and so
session,
on.
right? We can all understand. Okay, I request everybody to please stand up to take a photo together. And I request all the camera person to be ready to seize the moment. So thank you, speakers, for a great and insightful discussions. We have a special gift to be given to all the speakers, including the moderator. You have a huge collection, right? Okay, so like what Pak Agus just said, Indonesia plays a prominent role in advancing carbon trading. So with the recent progress, hopefully any hurdles that hindered around the carbon economy activity can be resolved. Thank you very much once again, and thank you for your attendance, ladies and gentlemen. Later on, we're going to have an opening ceremony of our beautiful pavilion. So we're going to have a quick break. And I shall see you around in 20 minutes. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Enggak, saya belum masuk. Saya baru di Pertamina baru 5 bulan. Oke. Silakan Bapak duduk.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Special Envoy of the President Republic of Indonesia for Energy and Climate Change, His Excellency Bapak Hashim Joyo Hadikusumo. Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
Undang ke depan Pak Hasim Bu. Biar si mbak-mbak itu aja ke depan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly take a seat. A warm welcome to Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, honorable leaders. Well, I don't think we need anything warmer than what already it is, right? Well, perhaps the universe sends a reminder to all of us to take an immediate actions in tackling climate crisis so everyone could live comfortably. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, since we have Mr. Ambassador here, I better get this right. Senja bem-vindos, señoras e señores. May peace be upon us all. First and foremost, allow me to greet and welcome the following VIPs. Special Envoy of the President Republic of Indonesia for Energy and Climate Change, His Excellency Bapak Hashim Joyo Hadikusumo. Accompanied by spouse, Madam Ibu Ani Haryati Joyo Hadikusumo. Welcome, Madam. Minister of Environment, who also act as the head of Environment Protection Agency, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Dr. Hanif Faisal Nurafik. Vice Minister of Forestry, Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Rohmat Marzuki. Ambassador of Republic Indonesia to Federative Republic of Brazil, His Excellency Bapak Edi Yusuf. The head of Indonesia Pavilion for COP30 UNFCCC, Ibu Laksmi Widya Jayanti. All dignitaries, government officials, distinguished delegates from neighboring countries, business leaders, media partners, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Indonesia Pavilion for the opening ceremony of Indonesia Pavilion for COP30 Amazonia, Brazil. And Pavilion Indonesia is proudly hosted by the Ministry of Environment, Republic of Indonesia. So please put our hands together for everyone who made this event possible. Thank you. To formally commence the event, let's pay homage and tribute to our nation, to honor a legacy, a bond that reaches us and unites us all under one flag. So I would like to draw your attention, your respect, and request everyone, regardless where you're from, to please stand up. Together, let us sing Indonesia National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, honorable leaders, Pavilion Indonesia serves as a platform of an international outreach campaign. It showcases the nation's effort in combating climate crisis through decarbonization actions and sustainable development. So to kickstart today's event, let's first hear a report on the pavilion and opening remarks from the Minister of Environment, who also acts as the head of Environment Management Agency. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency Dr. Hanif Faisal Nurafiq.
Tes satu dulu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellency Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Change and Energy, Bapak Hasyim Joyo Hadikusumo, tepuk tangan untuk beliau. With Ibu Ani Haryati Joyo Hadikusumo, Excellency Vice Minister of Forestry, Bapak Rohmat Marzuki, Excellency Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Federative Republic of Brazil, Bapak Edi Yusuf, sahabat saya CIO PLN, Bapak Darmawan Prastyo, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a tremendous honor for me to welcome you all to the official opening the Indonesia Pavilion at COP30 UNFCCC here in the vibrant city of Belém, Brazil, the gateway to Amazon. Today, as we gather here in Belém, Brazil, on this meaningful occasion, Indonesia commemorates Heroes Day, a day when we honor the courage, sacrifice, and vision on those who fought for our nation independent. Just as our heroes once defended our sovereignty, we are now called to defend the planet we share, ensuring that future generations inherit a world rich in biodiversity, justice, and hope. As we take a moment to reflect on this shared responsibility, I invite all of us to rise and join in brief moment of silence on unity, a symbolic mengheningkan cipta for our heroes and for the earth that nurtures us all. A heningkan cipta is begin. Thank you. Honorable delegates, esteemed colleagues, Indonesia continues to play an active and contribute role in the global effort to combat climate change. One of our key contributions in the submission of the second nationally determined contribution, SNDC, which reaffirms our commitment to the Paris Agreement and strengthen our ambition to reduce greenhouse gas emission. Our second NDC reflects greater ambition with no backsliding from our first NDC by setting emission target at 1.2 gigatons CO2 equivalent in low scenario and 1.4 gigaton CO2 equivalent in high scenario by 2035. Second NDC, Indonesia has already submitted to the UNFCCC. In this updated contribution, Indonesia has transitioned from a percentage-based emission reduction target to an absolute emission level target. This provides greater clarity, enhanced transparency, and reflect our improved methodologies and heightened ambition. Honorable delegates, esteemed colleagues, last month, President Prabowo Subianto signed a presidential regulation number 1 and 110 of 2025, modernizing Indonesia climate governance. This regulation establishes a strong legal foundation for carbon pricing, trading, and transparent emission management. Our carbon market is now open for global transition, aiming to mobilize up to 7.7 billion US dollar per year of potential economic value, with every ton of emission traceable and accountable. This year, the Pavilion Indonesia introduced a new and pioneering feature, the Seller Made Buyer platform, a novel concept in Indonesia Pavilion history. Through this innovation, we create a bridge between carbon credit seller made buyer, facilitating direct and transparent engagement within Indonesia high integrity carbon market frameworks. This initiative embodies our belief that effective climate diplomacy must not only inform policy but also enable economy transformation. This transformation is already underway through the Seller Made Buyers platform, which facilitates direct transaction and unlock the potential economy value of 90 million tons of quality carbon unit from 41 certified, verified, and prospective projects. This transition channel climate finance into local communities, promote sustainable land use, and generate long-term prosperity. This is our shared pathway, turning ambition into impact for people and planet. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, beyond our participation in formal negotiation that we call hard diplomacy, Indonesia also embraced soft diplomacy through the presence of this pavilion. It is here that we showcase the spirit of collaboration and innovation that define our climate journey. This year, Indonesia Pavilion presents an action-driven concept under the theme Accelerating Substantial Action of Net Zero Achievement through Indonesia High Integrity Carbon. The pavilion will host a rich series of strategic dialogue, high-level session, CEO talks, and seller made buyer. More than 5 sessions, including enhancing ambition on renewable energy, accelerating climate finance, and economy transformation, nature contribution to climate resilience, and technology and community empowerment for a resilient future. As dialogue reflect that every sector and actor have a role to play in shaping a sustainable future, provide prosperity and green job opportunity for people. Through the pavilion, we proudly highlight the synergy among national and subnational governance, businesses, youths, media, and environmental activists. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I would like to kindly request His Excellency, Special Presidential Info on Climate Change and Energy to give opening remarks and officially open the Indonesia Pavilion at COP30. Excellency Bapak Prabowo Joyo Hadikusuma, please, floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, the Minister of Environment, Bapak Hanif Faisal Nurovic, Your Excellency, the Vice Minister of Forestry, Bapak Rohmat Marzuki, the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Federative Republic of Brazil, Bapak Edi Yusuf, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, salam kebajikan, namo buddhaya, rahayu, rahayu, rahayu. I bid welcome to the opening of the Indonesian Pavilion here at COP30. in this beautiful city of Belém, Brazil. The Indonesian Pavilion plays a crucial role in soft diplomacy, which is closely aligned with our hard diplomacy efforts. This is not merely an exhibition, it is also where ideas and actions meet and where collaboration transforms ambition into action. The Indonesian Pavilion serves as a hub for parties, state actors and non-state actors in the UNFCCC to engage in meaningful communication, exchange of experiences, deliberate on pertinent issues and best practices, and to inspire one another. The COP30 in Belém will all be about implementation, where the world gathers not merely to negotiate, but to mobilize collective action in response to the climate emergency. This conference embodies a pivotal transition from vision to reality, where nations, communities, and generations unite to trigger what the presidency framework terms as a global mutirao, a worldwide mobilization of self-driven, inclusive, and bottom-up climate action. Indonesia's approach to this negotiation is clear and principled, guided by the principles of equity, common but differentiated responsibilities, and respective capabilities. We believe that ambition must be matched with implementation, and implementation must be supported by access to finance, technology, and capacity building. Indonesia comes to COP30 not only to contribute, but also to collaborate, bridge ambition and action, link policy with practice, and ensure that our national and global pathways remain firmly aligned with the goals of the 2015 Paris Agreement. Since its signing in 2015 and subsequent ratification of the Paris Agreement in 2016 through Law Number 16 of 2016, Indonesia has continued to strengthen its climate ambitions. We began with our first NDC in 2016, followed by the updated NDC in 2021, the enhanced NDC in 2023, and last month, in October 2025, we submitted our second NDC that reflects higher ambition, setting targets at 1,259 gigatons CO2 equivalent under the low scenario and 1,489 gigatons CO2 equivalent as the high scenario. Indonesia's second NDC will build upon these achievements and serve as a bridge towards Indonesia's long-term strategy for low carbon and climate resilience 2050, with a vision to achieve net zero emissions by 2060 or sooner. Recently, Indonesia enacted Presidential Regulation number 109 on waste to energy and number 110 on carbon economic value, which are instruments of our national decarbonization financing and GHG emissions control framework. This marks the dawn of a reformed carbon ecosystem in Indonesia. The new regulations set a robust carbon market architecture aligned with high-integrity international standards, ensuring transparency, credibility, and full interoperability with global systems. The sectoral ministries will be the custodians of their respective carbon crediting business processes in their respective sectors. For example, the Ministry of Forestry, represented here today by the Vice Minister of Forestry, will serve as the focal point for forestry-based carbon units. So does the Ministry of Energy and Minerals Resources, and so on and so on. With this foundation, Indonesia's carbon market is now open for global participation. We aim to mobilize up to $7.7 billion per year. Indonesia will explore all market and non-market approaches, including the voluntary carbon market, Article 6 mechanisms, and result-based payments to mobilize climate finance and unlock greater private sector participation. We understand the importance of each sector in the NDCs. However, with vast potential in the forest and land use sector, I believe that Indonesia has an obligation to nurture this sector more carefully, which will be the backbone for biodiversity, carbon markets, and achieving climate mitigation targets. Therefore, FOLU should be reflected in the Article 6.4 negotiations. Our vision is for Indonesia to be the leading global hub for high-integrity carbon markets, one that delivers real and measurable climate impacts while creating green jobs, sustainable livelihoods, and resilient communities. The Indonesian Pavilion stands as a vital extension of our diplomacy, a platform to share experiences, catalyze partnerships, and showcase innovation. It brings together governmental institutions, academia, the private sector, civil society, and youth in a spirit of unity and collaboration. The Indonesian Pavilion represents the spirit of optimism. It is a space for collaboration, learning, and a reflection of hope on Indonesia's determination to be a solution partner in the global climate agenda. My gratitude also goes to all our partners, ministries, institutions, and sponsors, both domestic and international, whose contributions have made this pavilion possible. Thank you. Terima kasih. Obrigado.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I would like to make a humble request for you to remain on stage. Would you please kindly officially announce the commencement of Indonesia Pavilion? We have a video to play. Thank you.
I hereby officially open this pavilion, Indonesia Pavilion, in COP30.
One more request, please. We would like to mark the celebration in a traditional way with nasi tumpeng. With that, I kindly invite Ibu Ani to please accompany Your Excellency. Please make your way to the stage, as well as Mr. Minister Hanif. So ladies and gentlemen, this is nasi tumpeng. It holds an important place in Indonesian tradition. So it's a symbol of hope, respect, and gratitude. And Your Excellency will cut the top of the nasi tumpeng. Another round of applause for this momentous occasion. Indonesia Pavilion is officially opened by His Excellency Bapak Hashim Joyo Hadikusumo, accompanied by Ibu Hani Joyo Hadikusumo, together with Mr. Minister Dr. Hanif Faisal Nurrafiq. I have one last request for Your Excellencies to please, you can back to your seat. We're going to have a group photo together facing to the audience. So all the audience, I request everyone to please stand up. We're going to seize this momentous occasion. And for the camera person, would you please come to the stage and seize the moment from the opposite side? So I invite everyone to please come together, make sure yourself is in frame, because as we all know, our tagline is nobody left behind, including in the picture. So if I may recall, His Excellency Pak Hashim has mentioned a few days ago, it's 10 years after the Paris Agreement ratification, and we have no much time left. So it's time to move from negotiation to implementation, and it's a moment for a shoulder-to-shoulder efforts. Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you for gracing Indonesia Pavilion with your presence, Pak Hashim, and thank you very much for the leadership to lead the nations in combating the climate crisis. And I guess we're all here to support this global mission. And for your information, Pak Hashim has been in and out of the city several times to attend numerous high-level meetings, but he eventually showed up today to show his support for Indonesia Pavilion. So once again, please shower him with a big round of applause. Your Excellency, Pak Hashim, we've already prepared a little something in the meeting room. Would you please kindly make your way to the meeting room? Meeting area. Bukan. On the other side of the pavilion. I'm sure there is someone who would lead the way. Thank you very much for gracing the moment with your presence. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the opening ceremony for Indonesia Pavilion. We're going to continue with the next program, and that's the CEO Talks. And we have invited 4 most influential Indonesian corporate leaders to share their perspectives. And they come from 4 different sectors. And we promise this discussion will spark a further thought on how the private sectors navigate to push forward the sustainability agenda. So please stay put, remain on your seat as we are about to start the next session shortly. gentlemen,
These extraordinary landscapes are home to some
it's
of the
time
richest
to rock and roll
biodiversity
again.
on the planet. And at APP,
I appreciate your
we
time
recognize that we too have a
to stay with us
responsibility
in Indonesia
and an
Pavilion.
opportunity to be part of the solution. Regenesis,
We're going to kick off with the
restoring
next
nature,
session,
empowering
titling
communities, and driving
Corporate Climate
responsible
Leadership for Indonesia's Net Zero Action through High Integrity
growth.
Carbon.
Regenesis is APP's ambition for a sustainable future. It is our commitment
If you're ready,
to
can you put a
conserving and
thumbs up
restoring
or
the
two?
forests and biodiversity,
I
while
guess we're
also
all ready.
managing
Okay.
carbon, driving innovation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we
empowering
want to
communities,
make a
and
leap
fostering
in net
partnerships.
zero
Our new
emissions,
forest
and it
positive
requires
policy marks the
not
first step
only
of
government
Regenesis and the
leadership,
next
but
phase of
also
our sustainability
require
journey.
decisive
Having
actions from
already
the private
developed a
sector.
catalog of
And the
native
corporate
species
actors
and piloted
across
restoration
sectors
areas, we're now
are
scaling up our
uniquely
efforts by
positioned to
identifying
drive a
larger areas with
transformational
the highest
change
potential for
through
restoration
innovation,
and expanding our
investment, and
impact
high
across
integrity
critical
carbon
landscapes.
market
Our goal
participation.
is to create shared
So, ladies and
value
gentlemen,
for
you are
nature,
joining CEO
climate,
Talks as we
and
bring
people
together
across our value
4
chain.
of Indonesia's most influential corporate
We're not
leaders
starting from zero.
from various
Together with our
sectors,
suppliers,
namely
we have been
electricity,
deforestation-free
energy,
since 2013.
forests,
We've
and then
invested in
finance.
flagship livelihood
They're going to
programs
showcase
and built
how
the
the private
foundations
sector
for restoration.
endow in
We are
accelerating
building on our progress to
decarbonization
date.
and
Through
how the
Regenesis,
corporate
we are
advancing
continuing
carbon
our
trade
journey
to
to
scale
more
up the
sustainable
Indonesia's
business
carbon market.
operations.
So
Join
I would
us
like to call
on the
upon all the
journey as we
speakers
work towards
to the
a more
stage.
sustainable future.
Being the first one, she is the Chief Sustainability Officer APP Group, Ibu Elim Sritaba. SVP ESG PT Bank Mandiri Persero Tbk, Ibu Monica Octavia. Chief Technology and Sustainability Officer PT PLN Persero, Bapak Evi Haryadi. Are you still in the same division, Pak, or you moved already? It's the same one, okay. Glad to hear that. Director of Transformation and Business Sustainability PT Pertamina Persero, Bapak Agung Wicaksono, who's on his way here. So, let's get started. I will make this opportunity to perhaps ask the two ladies on the panel, maybe Ibu Alim, because she's the only one who doesn't have anything to present, but she has full of knowledge. She's been doing this for how many years, Ibu? 8 years in a row. Okay, in a row. For APP, 20 years. So she has all the insights, anything you need to know, she has it. So APP, for the audience who probably not aware what it is, it's one of Indonesia's largest pulp and paper producer, right? And APP, I believe, has been committed to sustainability for so many years, and adapting a new sort of conservation and have a lot of projects ongoing. So, Bu Elim, can you tell us how or what's APP's strategy to actually reduce significant amount of carbon emissions, as well generate high integrity carbon credits?
So Regenesis is one of the sustainability strategy,
Our
more focused on
homeland,
not only
a place where the
forest
stories
positive,
of life
but
are
also the
passed down through
decarbonization.
generations.
So
Blessed
our
with
strategy
abundant
in terms of
resources,
decarbonization,
gifts from
we
God
start,
for us to
in
nurture
our
and
SRP
protect with
2030.
wisdom and
We
care.
start with the efficiency, identify
Here,
where is
our journey
the
begins,
potential area
a
to do the
dream for our
efficiency.
nation.
So APP have a downstream and
Wherever
upstream.
it leads
So we
us,
have a
we are
total 14
wholeheartedly
mills,
committed to
pulp,
giving
paper,
our
and
very
tissue
best
packaging.
for
And
the
also we
advancement
have
of our country,
2.8
delivering the
million
best energy
hectare,
solutions to
our,
people across the
pulp
nation.
supplier in Indonesia.
Integrated,
So within
spanning
this,
shore to shore,
scale,
providing reliable
I think
and affordable
our
energy to all,
decarbonization
from
and
the
our
bustling
Regenesis
cities
will
to
also
the remote
develop strategy
villages.
moving toward
We pledge to
2050.
preserve our
And we have been
homeland's
committed,
treasures,
how we can
striking
achieve
a
net zero
balance
by
between
2050,
generating energy
and answering your question
and
in terms
protecting
of
the
high
environment for
integrity,
future
project. We know
generations.
that Indonesia is one of the larger tropical forests, which is the center of
As advocates
discussion
and
in
agents
this
of
club.
change,
So
we are
APP,
dedicated to
with our scale,
empowering
we're also
communities
looking for the
inclusively,
opportunity in terms
creating
of
values
how
and
this
delivering
carbon,
tangible
high
benefits to
integrity
society.
carbon project can benefit for us, addressing
With a
our
bold
decarbonization
vision, we
strategy
take a
in
leap
our
forward into a new chapter, anchored in transparency, innovation, and integrity. We stand united in our purpose. Hete Adaro Andalan Indonesia TBK, with unwavering commitment, responsibility, and dedication. We present energy for a better
and in the
future.
upstream, now, like you said, how we can get some high integrity carbon project market to benefit our decarbonization strategy. So we have several, more than 100,000 hectares in our pipeline developed as a carbon project, and this is how we can create the carbon credit and benefit back to our decarbonization. And the most important under Regenesis, we want our value chain. We want our value chain become, be part of the partnership. We know that as a developing countries, if you talk about decarbonization, it's not something very easy. Availability of the renewable is very limited. So we want to invite our value chain, our customer, to be part of the journey. So in this scope, I wanna voice out how these developed countries who also benefit from our product, which is we are the producer countries, so they have to be part of the journey. They are not I don't like to see they are waiting outside, only push and give target to us, but how they can be part of the partner, chip in, and then do project together. So I think this is the time, and yeah, the voice about this year is a time for the implementation. It's not only commitment, but we want to implement together collaboratively. So that's maybe, later on we can continue. So this is the voice that I would like to invite brands, customer, not only give APP target to do the decarbonization, but please become our partner to do together the carbon project, and then how can benefit not only for APP, but they also can claim the carbon or low carbon product coming from producer country. Yeah, thank you.
Bu Elim, do you find it challenging to actually invite the stakeholders to actually move and work together to achieve the same goal?
Yeah, it's not easy because at the end need investment, right? Need money to do anything. So decarbonization, I would like, if we talk about the downstream, of course, is responsible by us. But if we are going to scope 3, then we have to do together. Last week in Sao Paulo, under World Business Council for Sustainable Development Organization, they calculated all the members, which is all member private sector around the world, APP is part of the member, 88%, the scope 3 coming from that member, which is all the private sector. So 89%, if you are not coming together, address together, we will not gonna address. We only just say that I want this, I want this, I want that. And we have to put money. Now under Regenesis, we are thinking, because we just launched on September, we want to create what kind of framework or approach can really invite them but of course we can use the high integrity carbon project here. So how we can invite them to be part of the investor and as well as also benefit the low carbon product from Indonesia. So that's the plan of our Regenesis. Yeah, it's not easy, but we have to think about from the private point of view, because of private only want to put money if they see the high integrity, they see the transparency, which is the homework from us to create that kind of platform, how we can invite them. And they also can claim as a part of their journey rather than only set the target and then give to the producer, I want this low carbon product. So I want, come here together, we will give you the low carbon product, but give your money to us, together with our money address the target.
Yeah, I guess everybody, all stakeholders have to share the same spirit, right? And so the key instrument, the main important thing that you talk about is the high quality carbon credit. Because that is the component that could entice the stakeholders to work together. Could you please tell us about the projects that you work on that's currently perhaps is could open up a window of opportunities to collaborate with other major stakeholders?
Yeah, we have in Riau what we call Riau Wetland Heritage. So around 100,000 hectare on peatland, separately in the several license concession, which is we are right now in the middle of the finalizing the feasibility study and going to enter the PDD process, and I hope that through this project we can invite. So on the 15th, we have also a small cocktail to invite the potential buyer, including our customer, to just to show this is the project. And then, of course, we also want to sense as well how they would like to be part of the project. And the other project in South Sumatra, we have a small area but we are thinking not only our area, but how we can exercise the landscape level approach together with other concession owner who also hold the restoration ecosystem. If we combine with all the government area, is about 200,000 hectare mangrove area. I think APP willing to be part or lead this public-private community partnership, and how we can develop again the high integrity carbon project to show to the stakeholders that between not only one private but several private sector, including the government, can be part of the one project together in the landscape level.
Okay, to generate a high integrity or quality carbon, it requires approval, verified and transparent methods. So do you think the issuance of the new presidential regulation would help and to make your work easier to achieve that?
Yeah, of course. And I think the new decree, the 110 decree just released by our government, is an open opportunity for us, and especially I think 2 days ago, the Minister of Environment as well and Minister of Forestry signing with ICVCM, which is there are 10 principles to help how we can upgrade our carbon project to become high integrity carbon. I think this is the time, and then we can use the mechanism, the framework to measure our project to make sure that we can achieve the high integrity carbon, while we preparing how we can invite the investor to be part of the project. So we are not doing it alone.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Alim. Okay, I'll move to Bank Mandiri, Mbak Monica. Commercial bank from financial sector also play a significant role in decarbonization. So because financial sector, of course, they do the financing, especially for the renewable energy projects, and really drive an important role to move towards the clean and just energy transition. So what's the strategy of Bank Mandiri in reducing carbon emissions?
Yes, thank you, Mbak Mona, for the opportunity. So in this special occasion, I would like to highlight the strategic roles that banks or financial institutions in Indonesia can play to drive the climate action to support the Indonesia net zero target. So as been mentioned before, that it certainly needs capital, resources, and also collective action to make it happen. So just to highlight in the next slide, the information that we all know that Indonesia has the largest tropical peatland in the world, and then the most biodiverse nation in the world, and also one of the largest tropical forests. So these all makes Indonesia important. So what we do matters. People see what we prepare to do. It is important that we, Bank Mandiri, and all the financial sectors in Indonesia also on board to support this action. In the next session, that we can see that in terms of numbers, in terms of Indonesia's potential, we see that together with Brazil, Indonesia actually has the largest nature-based solution carbon potential of around 1.5 gigaton CO2 equivalent each year. And it puts Indonesia in a strategic advantage position, because we have the potential to achieve the net zero emission, but as well as strive to achieve the economic growth target that we need to visualize our nation vision to become advanced economy by 2045. But on the right-hand side, we see that right at this point in time, the amount or the volume that the carbon has been, which has been traded in the Indonesian IDX carbon exchange, only makes up for about 0.1%. So it's still not significant yet. But like what Bu Elim said, the momentum is right here with the government making the new regulation. So with the international mutual recognition to increase the credibility of the carbon, the integrity. So Bank Mandiri is ready to support this action as well. To highlight in the next slide what we've achieved so far, Bank Mandiri in helping in helping the financing for this carbon investment, the gap is still significant. The key challenges that we observe in some of the examples that pipelines that we've considered is among them is the cost of capital needed, and then the long tenure of the project, which makes the tenure mismatch is a little bit of problem for us, the lenders as well. And then the bankability of some of the project pipeline, as well as the policy and the uncertainty of the market right now. And so this experience highlight that the capital sourcing with viable cost and the structure that matches the project tenor, as well as the regulatory certainty, what makes scaling of the climate project investment will catapult into what is needed. So we Bank Mandiri so far, to highlight the achievement that we've done so far, we continue to support our clients in making sustainable growth. So in the next slide, we can show you that so far our sustainable portfolio has reached 310 trillion rupiah by September 2025, which shows 8.7% growth year on year. And this is driven by both the green portfolio coming from various green projects ranging from the sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, eco-efficient products, clean transportation, as well as the water and wastewater management, but as well as coming from our social portfolio, which basically comprises of all our MSMEs portfolio and other sectors such as healthcare. And on the right-hand side, in terms of the product suite that we offer, we've also provided our clients with a wide ranging of sustainable or thematic loan products. So ranging from the green loan, social loan, as well as the sustainability linked. So this highlights the position that we have to enable businesses and communities to pursue the sustainable growth. This achievement also reflects what we do to engage our client, as can be seen from the next slide. We have like a comprehensive and integrated approach to engage our clients' transition journey. So starting from the expertise, we provide technical assistance as well as tailored insights to help them identify risk opportunities as well as to strengthen their governance and align with the international standards. And also we also have a sustainable finance framework as well as transition finance framework, which serves as our foundation for our sustainable lending practices. This helps us to eliminate any risk of greenwashing claims. And then the solutions, as already shown in the previous slide, we have a wide ranging of financing suites, product suites as well. So these solutions reinforce Bank Mandiri's commitment to support our clients in their transition journey. So in the context of carbon market ecosystem, as can be seen in the next slide, we see that the role of financial institutions can be present from end to end, starting from the supply side and the demand side, as well as the enabler in the intermediary market. So in the supply side, not only to finance the project by providing loan, we, as for example, Bank Mandiri has a subsidiary, Mandiri Sekuritas, which can help our client to issue bonds, like thematic bonds, green bonds, social bonds, or sustainability-linked bonds, to help clients who have carbon project, carbon development project, to finance their carbon project. But also we are equipped to help the economic empowerment in the surrounding of the project, the communities and the micro and SME businesses surrounding the project by providing financial inclusivity solution, so that not only helping in producing the carbon, but also in supporting the economic development surrounding the project. And in the intermediary, Bank Mandiri, through the subsidiary in Mandiri Sekuritas, can actually provide services as a broker to help clients who wants to buy carbon credit in the exchange. And in terms of the demand side, credit buyers, we actually have a digital banking platform for both our wholesale clients as well as our retail clients that can be connected to the IDX Carbon platform, so that they can do the carbon credit transaction seamlessly towards the banking platform. And so that can also improve the volume traded in the carbon exchange. And also, these illustrations we acknowledge that some of the roles are still in our aspirational concept based on benchmarking and discussions with key stakeholders. But with Bank Mandiri's organizational structure, as well as our position to influence the key stakeholders, as well as our in-house technology capabilities. So we are ready to support the overall carbon trading ecosystem.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Mbak Monica. One question. Any particular sector that Mandiri has preference in selecting your potential client or any particular industry? Because I saw a few sectors from energy, electricity, even poultry. And I'm going to ask this question not because Ibu Alim sitting next to you. Well, we don't see forestry. Can you perhaps clarify a bit on that?
Yes, actually APP is one of Bank Mandiri's major client as well. The exposure is still the majority of it in the downstream sector, but we've already have some exposures in the upstream as well, but still not as large as the downstream. In terms of the sectors that we have appetite in, we do not have a specific sectors that we consciously not go into, but we see a case-by-case basis, and we see the risk of the project, and we do have overall portfolio guideline that we follow as determined by our credit portfolio management team. But in terms of sectors, we support the overall sectors that are put upon by our clients. Yeah.
And another last question for you. Is there any plan to actually expand your the green portfolio within Bank Mandiri?
Yes, we certainly do. So together with the other sectors, so our goal is to grow our green portfolio as well as social and overall our portfolio. So not exiting some sectors, but we push the other sectors, but we do balancing in the overall portfolio, including the green portfolio too. Yeah.
Do you mind to reveal if we put it into numbers?
At the moment, we still we will see the balance with our overall portfolio growth target, which I think for next year is still in the calculation stage. But we will aim to support the overall total growth of our portfolio. But in terms of numbers, at the moment, we are still in the middle of formulating it.
Thank you, Mbak Monica. Okay, please give a huge appreciation for Mbak Monica as well as Ibu Alim. We've touched on forestry, we've touched on finance. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions, I will open the Q&A sessions at the end after all the presenters or speakers presented their material. Okay, moving on to the next one. Pak Agung, since you're the last one to arrive, so you'll be the last one to present. So I go to Pak Evi. From PLN. PLN is Indonesia's largest utility or power company, which plays a significant role in decarbonizing the power sector. So the question is, what's PLN's strategy to reduce the significant amount of carbon emissions while ensuring the company meet the obligations for the public service by selling power at affordable price, and at the same time also generate the profit for the government?
Thank you, Mona. First of all, maybe I would like to explain about the PLN more details. As in the slide, we can see that PLN now serve around 93 million customer, but till now we also have served around 80 years more the development of our power development in Indonesia. Now we not just only providing the electricity, we also concerned that want to beyond the electricity. And now we also has been preparing more on ESG disclosure that is been here. There is we has been publishing some reporting related with the ESG. It's start with the sustainability report, climate related disclosure report, TNFD and so on. And with this, we also achieving our risk rating. Before our risk rating in 2021 is just only 30x. It means that is have high risk, and now it's become 27.4. Is a medium risk. We improving and concern that we have to improve all about our risk in climate, and we also has been back. Yeah, we also has committed to achieve. First is back to the second one. The president, yeah, want to achieve the target of net zero emission by 2060 that has been committed in COP26 in Glasgow. And at that time, we has been aligned our target in Indonesian long-term climate goal. And based on this, if we see here, we not just only achieving our target by reducing the goal, but also the intensity of our emission. If we see the maximum emission, it will be 2035. By building additional renewables development, especially in solars and renewable and storage, we in our 10 years business plan 2025 and 2034, we want to be the utility that powering a sustainable and inclusive future. PLN has been continue to strengthen our sustainability by also building the new RUPTL. In 2021, we has been established the first the greenest RUPTL, 2021-2030. But in this year, we improving to become RUPTL 2025-2034. Based on this RUPTL, we would like to build around 52.9 gigawatt of generation and also 48,000 kilometer circuit of the transmission line. Yeah, it present the other challenge, not just only the technical challenge, it's also the environmental and social challenge, including the biodiversity and also the impact in the community. And with this, we together with our partner, especially like ADB or World Bank, establishing what we call it ESMS, Environment, Social Management System. And in this ESMS, we build together how we identify early about the problem and also the mitigation, monitoring, and how we can answer all the problem related with climate. And now we start the project ESMS with the one that financed by this multi-development bank like IDB and World Bank. But in the future, we will also do this with the same, not just only that financing by the ADB or World Bank or other multi-development bank, but also from like commercial bank like Mandiri or others bank. And we if we see next, if we see in this slide, we has been consistently achieve our target, and this is on the track with what we have done, and not just only what we do. Let's say in the short-term initiative progress year, there is a four target is what we have been list in our NDC initiative. We also add another initiative beyond NDC. Like the biofuel used in diesel, and also energy efficiency, rooftop solar and EV ecosystem. This is what we want to do regarding how we can achieve net zero emission based on our roadmap.
Okay, thank you, Pak Effy. Please put our hands together for PLN, Pak Effy. So you mentioned that currently you work or collaborate with development bank and open up the opportunity to work together with commercial bank. Do you think that if you work with commercial bank, the project will be financially feasible?
Yeah, of course. When we talk about the project with commercial bank, it could be the commercial. But in the case like the transmission line, that it could be not feasible. We ask the government also supporting this, because without this, as you know that in our RUBTL, most of the power plant is renewables, and renewables is located far from the demand. We must be the transmission line, and this transmission line could be not feasible, commercially feasible. That's why when we talk about this, we also ask the government to supporting not just only the commercial one, but also the uncommercial project like the transmission line. That's why we talk with the ADB, World Bank, and other development bank, and also the government, how the government can supporting this. Because without this, there is enabler. There is not enabler for building the power plant, and we also now discussing with some organization like maybe that has been explained this morning with another country, how this country can also give us some special scheme. We have talked with Norway now. Maybe in this occasion we also want to, we together would like to sign the framework agreement that regarding this. The scheme is like how we can build together, let's say the floating power plant that not feasible because of maybe some problem there regarding remote area that we must be build a long line transmission line. They can support us some financing gap subsidy to make it commercial. That's one of effort that we want to try to discuss with another institution to fulfill and achieve our target.
Okay, I will ask Mbak Monica then if it's okay with you. Do you want to add some comments perhaps on what just being presented by Pak Effy and your perspectives from Bank Mandiri in relation to that particular program they have?
Yes, certainly us as commercial banks, when we see these kinds of project, also particularly in the greenfield stage, we would like to have a specific scheme to help us make the project feasible and also de-risk the project itself. So what has been mentioned before, some examples, the
like we call it the blended finance scheme, where some parties support in the specific stage of the project, and then commercial banks coming in once the the project is viably commercial. That's something that we actually is looking to elaborate the discussion more at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Monica. Pak Evi, I have one more question for you. It's not fair because all the source person have 2-3 questions. Okay, one last question for you is you mentioned about the RUPTL 2021 is the greenest RUPTL. So what do you think of the current one, 2025 to 2034? Would that be greener than the previous one?
2025 to 2034 is it's the greener than the previous one. In the previous one, we just only built around 34 gigawatt of renewables, but in this we built around 42.9 gigawatt of renewables. That's the first one. The second one is also in this we add a lot of renewable regarding the VRA, like the PV rooftop and also the storage. Yeah, because in this also we add the we call it the smart grid. Yeah, in the previous one there is no smart grid there. It make without smart grid we cannot build more VRA in the system. We not just only doing this in our RUPTL, we also in this RUPTL we also include about the decarbonization, what we call it, additional carbon market mechanism and include in our RUPTL. Yeah, let's say now we also include in here how we can use our renewables that now established in the system, not just only preparing the power, but also creating the profit for the company.
Okay, can you specifically explain one of the project as in like one of the significant milestones or breakthrough that PLN did in transforming the power sector towards a cleaner or more sustainable energy?
Now we are preparing in our system the big project of the storage. The storage we have the project of storage around 6 gigawatt of storage, and also the big project of VRA and around 17 gigawatt. It's not include the 100 gigawatt project that has been published by the president. And now we're starting doing some bidding project, preparing, and maybe in the near future, maybe in next or the next 2 months, it will be starting procurement process.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Evi. Okay, last but not least, we have a representative from Pertamina sitting next to me. Okay, Pertamina is Indonesia's state-owned enterprise, right? In oil and gas
Energy.
Energy. And energy as well. So if you look at it, it's totally the opposite of green industry, right? So the question is how Pertamina balance the need to meet nation's energy demand with the long-term goal for decarbonization?
Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to begin by clarifying on 2 things. Number one, sorry for being here slightly delayed. It has to do with the first slide. The next slide, we were in a meeting with the presidential spokesperson, the special envoy, Pak Hashim, the Minister of Environment and Vice Minister of Forestry, where Pak Hashim, the presidential special envoy, emphasized the importance of COP30, so that he traveled all the way from Indonesia to here, bringing the message of President Prabowo. And if you look at how President Prabowo's priority, which is called Asta Cita, which is now his 1 year into his term, Asta Cita also puts one aspect out of 8, which is called the green economy. So this is where we see economic growth and net zero emission being aligned. And especially when it comes to the profile of the carbon emission of Indonesia, right now, a majority of that comes from the energy sector where Pertamina is. 55% of the emission is from the energy sector. And if we look at the second NDC that was mentioned by Pak Hashim in the opening, also we see that the energy sector will still have a peak emission in the period of 2030 to 2035, but then it will go down until 2060. That's why the Astacita from President Prabowo is very important, because it is within these 5 years where the program, the policy to enable energy emission to achieve the peak, and then will go down to 2060. So with that in mind, in the next page, I think to clarify what you have mentioned about Pertamina, is it an extractive industry company or is it a sustainability company? I come to the company in June this year, so less than 6 months ago. And this is the moment where Pertamina for the first time has a director on business transformation and sustainability. So that was the moment where we see sustainability that has been a focus, and we put it into mainstream agenda, and therefore also right at this moment we are refining our net zero emission roadmap. So of course one is related to how the second NDC that we need to capture, but also how we look at not just scope 1 and 2 of the emission, but also scope 3 in order to be able to achieve the net zero emission in 2060 or even earlier. So in the next page, we see how, if you look at the moment of the profile of Pertamina carbon emission, so we see that right now we have our projected scope 1 and 2, both the baseline and the pathways, and you see that aligned with the national energy policy, the CAN that was released in 2017. Right now, the peak demand will still go until about 2036, but then after that, we'll have to go down until 2060. And that is why the net zero emission roadmap currently is being refined by including scope 3 emission, especially coming from the use of the sold products that we have from Pertamina, and this is something that we talk about. We are currently mapping already this effort on refining the net zero emission roadmap. In terms of ambition, we are very much in line, but we need to work a lot on the strategy, the innovation, financing. That's why we have here Bank Mandiri with us, as well as the transparency to be able to achieve net zero emission by 2060. And with that, in the next page, we can achieve that through what we call the dual growth strategy in Pertamina. The dual growth integrate both decarbonization, especially to reduce scope 1 and 2, but also developing low carbon business. So these are the two engines of the dual growth strategy that we have. And this has to touch upon all the various sectors of business of Pertamina. If you look at our business right now, the upstream oil and gas and the refinery constitutes the largest portion of the emission. More than 90% of the emission come from those two areas. But we also have our renewable energy business. So, Bu Desmona, if you look at that, Pertamina is not only selling and producing oil and gas, but we're also a company that, for example, work together, collaborate with PLN when it comes to renewable energy in the geothermal sector, for example. So, from upstream to downstream via refinery and renewable energy, we work together also even with the support of Pertamina University. We have our own university and foundation that support to achieve this net zero emission through various strategy in the decarbonization as well as low carbon business development and carbon offset. So in the next page, we see here the real action, because we know when it comes to COP, it's really the time to act. It's not just about the talk. In the low carbon business, right now, of course, if we see the investment value is still about 10% of the total, almost $79 billion of investment that goes into low carbon business. But these are very significant examples. in the area of electricity, for example, through the development of solar PV, solar panel manufacturing, with a company from China, Longyi. We are currently building a factory in West Java, and when it is ready, it will be able to support the solar PV business with local content development that is supported by Pertamina. Another area that is also very interesting is the utilization of used cooking oil. You know, if you look at Brazilian cuisine, it's not so much fried. But if you look at Indonesian cuisine, a lot of them are fried. So that's why used cooking oil is abundant. Utilizing used cooking oil to sustainable aviation fuel is one of the areas that we do in the sustainability business. I'm going to elaborate that further on Wednesday in a special session on SAF, but this is something that really speaks about circular economy. And at last also, we talk about decarbonization, we also talk about hydrogen. In transport sector, we know transport sector also contributes a lot to emission, but through the use of green hydrogen, and we can utilize in this area the green electricity from geothermal, we can then go to the energy transition aspect, not only through electrification, but also through hydrogen. We work with a Japanese company, Toyota, right now, to build a pilot plant to produce green hydrogen for the transportation. And the next one also talks about decarbonization, especially in the things that matters, especially as our bread and butter, which is the upstream oil and gas, through the use of carbon capture and storage and carbon capture utilization and storage. So in CCS, in CCUS, the value chain starting from the capture, the liquefaction, transporting, injecting, and utilization, including enabling increasing the production of oil and gas using CCS, CCUS is very important. And we are now working with many project partners with that. And I think in order to be able to extract oil and gas, but also with sustainable dimension, we need to work on the CCS, CCUS. With that, in the next page, especially referring to what Ibu Monica mentioned, there is a very good platform in this pavilion, which is the buyer meet seller session that will take place tomorrow afterwards. We at Pertamina are ready to participate. We're going to transact. We're going to, deal tomorrow already with Bank Mandiri, the carbon credit that is utilized, that was generated from our business. Also, we'll work with international banks such as SMBCI. And these are coming from projects that we do together in an ecosystem of state-owned enterprise. So there are projects that comes from our geothermal power plant in Lahendong, but there are also the biogas power plant in Seimangke, North Sumatra, that comes from our work together with PTPN Perkebunan Nusantara. And at the moment, we are also having nature-based solution project in the pipeline, working together with Perhutani. Altogether, this will produce almost 250,000 ton CO2 in this year of 2025, and we're ready to contribute to the buyer mid-seller platform in the Indonesia Pavilion to show that Pertamina is one of the pioneers when it comes to the carbon credit. So with that, I think in the next page, it's the final message why we come so far to Brazil. It's not only for COP, a COP in the forest, which is something very important, but also coming to Brazil speaks for two important aspects. Number one, last month, the president of Brazil visited Indonesia, and in front of President Prabowo and President Lula, we from Pertamina signed an MOU with the Brazilian company Fluxus, which will help us to enhance energy security by strengthening our oil and gas exploration. But the second aspect, which is also very important when it comes to Brazil, is about their success in bioethanol. So I'll be here in COP for 3 days, and then on Thursday onward, I'll be in Sao Paulo meeting businesses, companies, Brazilian companies that have shown success in developing bioethanol for their fuel supply. The Indonesian government, with the policy of President Prabowo, has given a very strong mandate that we will develop, enhance, and accelerate ethanol, especially up to the grade of E10 for our fuel distribution. With that, I think we can learn a lot from Brazil. There are a number of Brazilian companies that is in talk with us. And in the next few days, we're going to elaborate further how the use of ethanol is not only about energy security, but also environmental sustainability. For example, how this Amazon region actually can flourish with the role of ethanol development while also nurturing the role of the farmers. And at the same time, economically, I think Brazil is an ethanol superpower when it comes to energy. Indonesia also has strong superpower when it comes to geothermal, but also this time around, with the role of Brazil, we will work together. We will support the government policy so that we can have energy self-sufficiency, because right now we are no longer importing any diesel oil because we have utilized biodiesel, and hopefully with the role of bioethanol, we'll be able to be self-sufficient when it comes to gasoline. So with that, I conclude with the final slide. I think Pertamina and we all here believe that we are coming to a conference to save the earth, because we know this earth is not something we inherit from our ancestor, but this is something we borrow from the future generations, and that's why we come all the way to Belém to save the earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please send our appreciation to Pak Agung. Thank you for flexing some good initiatives that's been done by Pertamina. One question for you is, with the new regulation of for carbon trading in voluntary market, how Pertamina anticipate if the market really responds well to that?
Yes, certainly the key is about generating more and more projects, renewable, low carbon projects. That's why I think the collaboration we have, especially with the state-owned enterprises within the Danantara ecosystem. As we know, President Prabowo also puts Danantara, a sovereign wealth fund, a holding company for the state-owned enterprise, as the key vehicle, yeah, to realize not only the economic growth, but also potentially for the green economy. So for example, I think the utilization of waste to energy that is supported through Danantara, and that also comes from another presidential regulation, is something that we'll be working on. Also, other projects, for example, in, again, the bioethanol, the SIF, this is something that we're going to accelerate. So I think that's the reason why Pertamina see there is a need to have a special role in sustainability in the board, and this is also part of the journey of transformation for Pertamina towards sustainability.
Do you think it will be challenging to prepare those green projects to fulfill the demand from the market?
Challenge is part of life, just like change is part of life. Climate change is a challenge, but we all be committed to tackle this, because again, this is the only earth we have.
Thank you very much. Okay, now I will make the opportunity for the floor. If you want to raise any questions or you have any queries, anything you need to confirm from the speakers.
Barrow, AC
Oh,
Vice Chair, Foundation, and many other hats that you wear as well. So we're very honored to have you here. And Richie Merzian, who I feel like everyone in the room will know as a friend, CEO of the Clean Energy Investor Group. Thanks so much for joining us today. I just to frame the event before to the panel. I also want to acknowledge that Rebecca Williams, Deputy CEO of the Global Wind Energy Council, intending to be here, but is still in transit. So I think she's just touched down in Belém. So thankfully, with Michael and Amisha, we've very much got an international perspective on offshore wind, which is terrific. So we've shaped this conversation around how we harness the economic and social benefits.
Thank you very much for coming out this way. Sorry for my voice, I'm still recovering from this past event. I'm Camila from Brazil, and I decided to attend these sessions because carbon trading is something that I've been looking for to deal in Brazil. And as a young activist, we are kind of, half of it supports and half of it don't. So I have two questions though. Sorry if I didn't get the others company's name, but I got app group and also Pertamina. So I have two questions though. My first question would be, what is the most sector of emissions in Indonesia? I just Google it. It says soil change, the same in Brazil because we have the deforestation. So I want to confirm, is that soil change the most emission for carbon? Is that correct? Yeah, land use, sorry. Yeah, okay. So my first question would be, our concerns here is about how it goes. Like you guys are private companies and probably not looking for native foresters. So you are a paper company, you are a oil company. So you're probably looking to plant something that you can use afterward. So is that like allowing somehow the companies to emit more carbon so they can just buy it and they keep polluting? Or you also have an initiative to plant some native plants, native species? So this is what we're looking for in Brazil, because Amazonas, they have the land change of usage. And what youth is going after is to actually do something native, to not have interest in commercialization, just to plant, who can reflorist the forest. So that would be my question. Like, if we go to this carbon trending, do you think we're gonna allow companies to pollute even more? So we give like free passes? That's the question. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I can try to answer your question because of very connect with our business. So like APP, like I said, we start with the commit.
Yeah. So, this one is.
We start with our commitment with no deforestation. Of course, I think FOLU is the main contribution in terms of if we talk about the carbon emission in Indonesia. So, like our company, we start with the commitment with no deforestation since 2013. That's our commitment. The second thing, of course, we have to map our scope 1, 2, 3 within our business. Apparently, APP has our downstream and upstream. And the second thing, of course, we are not only, if we talk about the carbon credit and decarbonization for our business, we are not only focused on the carbon credit, but we also have to make sure that decarbonization effort within our scope 1, especially in our downstream, is ongoing. So have to be reduced. Since 2013, we measured the baseline, 2018, and how we can, we submit our SBTI, Science-Based Target Initiative target, to contribute to the 1.5 degrees. So that's important to show that we really have to reduce how many percent in our scope 1. Scope 2, of course, we depend on our PLN, which is right now, they already have a plan. So that's already, and in the meantime, we are also trying to use a solar panel to address some of the reduction within the scope 2. The homework is a scope 3. Scope 3 is the upstream side. The upstream side, like you said, similar in Brazil. For our business, we are not only improving in terms of sustainable forest management, but in the meantime, we also, in our government, they allow the company to get another license, 100% for the restoration ecosystem. So it's a different with the plantation license. So for this restoration ecosystem, the one that we talk about the carbon project, and then we can create carbon credit and to offset back to our downstream, or we get benefit or the opportunity selling some part of the carbon credit to get investor in, which is the one that I said how our Regenesis can can invite our value chain to be part of the ecosystem, to be part of the investor, to contribute to our target in terms of overall decarbonization strategy of PP. So this is, I hope, answering your question. And of course, for the FOLU, a lot of collaboration with our government. I know in Brazil also challenges in Amazon, illegal logging, etc., community. So that's why all carbon credit, all our commitment in the company have to address the same challenges. How we can reduce illegal logging, how we can include community within the carbon project, within our implementation of our policy. Hopefully I can answer your question. Thank you.
Okay, if I may add to that, thank you so much. I mean, getting a question from female young activists really, fires up the energy, and especially coming from a country that shares a lot of similarity. I think Indonesia and Brazil shares a lot of similarity. You mentioned about FOLU, but I think hearing from Ibu Elin and also the global initiative on the tropical landscape and forest that Indonesia works together with Norway, for example, I think we can even see actually that FOLU will be the carbon sink, in our second NDC. Yeah. Yes, of course, with the challenge that we have right now is the large contributor, but with the initiative that we're currently working on, FOLU sector will be the carbon sink. And now we look again at oil and gas, and you mentioned about the role of oil and gas production and how the carbon that is being emitted. So here again, I offer the solution of CCS and CCUS, carbon capture and storage, and carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Right now, I think CCS and CCUS is the only solution that will enable us to be able to utilize and produce fossil fuel-based energy. Of course, the role of energy transition will definitely reduce this. But at the same time, we are utilizing fossil-based energy, but with carbon capture and storage that will then contribute a lot on the carbon emission reduction. Right now, from the CCS and CCUS initiative that we're currently working on, we have about a potential of 68% of emission reduction from the upstream oil and gas through the CCS projects. And right now, we have about 13 projects in the pipeline and working with 17 companies from around the world. ExxonMobil, Chevron, Inpex, Marubeni, POSCO from Korea, and Petronas from Malaysia. So this carbon capture and storage is a global initiative in the oil and gas sector to enable carbon emission reduction in the upstream industry. So with that, I think, yes, we will still be producing oil and gas at a rate that is not going to be as high as before, but at the same time, through CCS and CCUS, we're ensuring that carbon emission can be reduced and the net zero emission 2060 can be still achieved.
Okay, does it answer your question? Okay, thank you. I could almost, it's almost unbelievable, right, to see Pak Agung only sits in the position for less than 6 months, but seems like he knows a lot more about the business. Okay, I guess I will, I think we have—
I have a lot of smart people around me, not me.
Thank you for being so humble. Okay, maybe 2 more questions. Ladies first, okay?
Good Spencer from Antigua. I want to see more alignment of your target goals with your biodiversity goals. With your climate goals, more alignment with biodiversity goals. Your country has ratified and we are trying to meet these targets. But we keep hearing carbon credits. What happened to biodiversity credits? Why isn't there a holistic approach? Ensure we meet these global targets. Thank you.
Okay, anyone
Hello,
wants—
hello.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. You talk about the biodiversity credit, right? How we can align. I agree with you. I think right now people talk about the framework, how this biodiversity credit can contribute for the carbon project. Because we need to understand, if we talk about the biodiversity, it's a bit complex. Each country has a different species that we can consider as an endangered species as a part of the biodiversity. But I agree with you, for now, the biodiversity only become additional value in terms of carbon credit. But how we can measure exactly the biodiversity credit? This is one of the challenges. I know right now globally people talk about the framework, how we can measure, and I'm sure that everybody we can contribute to the framework. And we as a company that or Indonesia also, we have a lot of biodiversity value within the forest, and how we can get credit. Yes, I think you can join the UN biodiversity framework under IUCN. They discuss about this biodiversity credit, how they can really measure with tangible materialities, materialize the biodiversity, so we can convert into the credit. So yeah, right now I think not really available, but in the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, Bu Eli, maybe you want to add more. I think it's still in relation to the first question, in relation to the native plants or species that we need to take care of so it's not vanished.
Yes. So basically, I'm sure there is some tools already available to identify what we call high conservation value. So every company who like us, before you start your operation, you have to assess using these tools called HCV toolkit. So after that, you can identify which one that have to be maintained, which one have to be protected, and how you can improve the value, how you can improve to make sure that you still maintain in all your operation. Like ours, we use the wood or the forestry in our industry, but you have to report the value still there. Number two, if we talk about the biodiversity, not only animal but also trees. So answering your native species, basically if we talk about the conservation, when you want to do the restoration, you have to restore the specific endemic species in the forestry where the area, if you talk about the restoration ecosystem. So this is important, and of course, different country, different natural species, different biodiversity value, but again, there is a toolkit that we can report to measure that how the company measure, maintain and protect and even improve the biodiversity value.
Thank you. One last one from the back. Did you, oh, you want to add? Okay. Just hold on. Just one minute.
On biodiversity, I'd like to offer two things that we're currently working on. Number one is with regard to whale shark. We are an archipelago country, and we at Pertamina, we have our shipping company. So we now, with our Pertamina International Shipping Company, work to find how conservation of the whale shark can take place, especially also by utilizing our ships that has sensor detection on where the sharks are, so that our routes will not disrupt their area. And secondly, that we're offering is on mangrove. So mangrove planting, usually in the area surrounding our activity, is very important. This is a part of what we call the blue carbon restoration, the blue economy that becomes also the key principle for Indonesia. Thank you.
Okay, you may go ahead, sir.
My name is Haru. I invest in renewable energy in Asia. Here.
It's not very clear.
I guess the quick question is, from your perspective, what will be the ideal carbon credit price range for your credits, for your high integrity carbon credits? Check. Hello? If I may repeat my question, from your perspective, what will be the ideal price range for carbon credits, your high integrity carbon credits?
How do you value your carbon units? Basically, is that the question you're asking? They can't make up their mind. Can you ask another question? They're not in the position to answer your question, I guess. Okay. Any more? Do you want to answer his question? Okay, you may try. Mbak Monica.
Yeah, is when you have targets. Yeah, actually, for us banks, at the moment, especially as the user of the carbon credit, so
in areas like infrastructure,
we give it to the market mechanism that is right now in the IDX carbon market. Yeah, in the future with more projects coming in, and then with the integrity that will be there in the market, the supply and the demand, all the barriers that are right now. If all the barriers are be able to be eliminated, I think the market mechanism will establish a viable carbon pricing, at least for the Indonesian market. But with the mutual recognition with the international standards, I think the discussion that we will have, what is the 1 unit carbon equivalent for all markets in different countries, I think that is something that we will look and we will discuss further. Yeah, but I think we will see with the pricing mechanism that we will give it to the market. It depends on the supply and the demand.
Okay, I guess we're all clear, and I have to end this session. Please put our hands together once again for all the speakers. Thank you for sharing a lot of insightful information. So before we dismiss, let's have a group picture together.
Dominated by shipping and very fuel in options. To the existing
Check. Hello.
Okay, thank you everyone. I'm so sorry about the noise. I think all pavilions is trying to catch everyone's attention. We have another one to go in about 30 minutes. So let's have a short break and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Amesha. Richie, over to you. So offshore wind is currently forecast to generate 10% of Australia's electricity by 2035.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I kindly invite everybody to please take your seat as we're about to start with the next session shortly. I kindly invite all the honorables to please make your way to the stage and have a seat. We have prepared 4, 5 seats for you just before we start our session. Or whatever you please. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable participant here. The session today is not supposed to be ministerial dialogue because they're just sending a message, so we call it ministerial message. So we know that this session is the accelerating climate action through financing international cooperation of carbon governance. So we want to hear all the message from those 5 ministers, deliver them in terms of the cooperating for the carbon governance. So first of all, here the Ministry of Environment from Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Etnono Rafiq, giving applause to him. And then His Excellency Rahmat Marzuki, the Vice Minister of Forestry. And then the Honorable Rahel Kite from the UK Special Representative for Climate. Welcome to the pavilion. And then the Honorable Josh Wilson, MP, the Assistant Minister for Climate Change and Energy from Australia. Welcome to Indonesian Pavilion. And then we start now. I believe that both ministers will be leave earlier, but I have to give the first session to Pak Hanif. Pak Hanif, time is yours to leave a message. Berdiri sini. Can have them.
Nggak iso ya. Tes 1 2. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening. Her Excellency Vice Minister of Forestry Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Mr. Rahmat Marzuki. Thank you, Pak. Excellency Miss Rachel Kite, UK Special Representative for Climate. Thank you, Bu. Excellency Hon John Wilson, MP Assistant Minister for Climate Change and Energy in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia government ensure that climate objectives are systematically embedded into national development planning, fiscal framework, and regulatory system. It is marks that the national level climate objective is integrated into our long-term strategy for low carbon and climate resilient LTS LCCR 2050, and the second nationally determined contribution as second NDC, which guides provincial and district level action plan for mitigation and adaptation at the National Medium Term Plan (RPJMN). Indonesia also has established a robust fiscal and regulatory foundation through the Presidential Regulation number 110 of 2025 on carbon economic value. Importantly, inclusivity and equity are mainstreams throughout this mechanism. Our policy mandated the involvement of vulnerable groups, local communities, women and youths to ensure that the low carbon transition deliver benefit equitable and that no one is left behind in the pursuit of a sustainable future. Distinguished participants, regarding to institutional mechanism that have proven most effective in Indonesia climate action, it relies on strong coordination across ministries and agencies under a whole of government approach. The designated national authority DNA established for participation under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, which play a central role in the Ministry of Environment, along with Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Energy, and Ministry Mineral Resources, Ministry of National Development Planning, and other sectoral bodies. This coordination is supported by Interministerial Steering Committee that jointly formulate emission reduction roadmaps, regulatory harmonization, and technical guidelines to align carbon market policy with energy transition and land-based mitigation efforts. Indonesia also has developed a national MRV infrastructure, measurement, reporting, verification, supported by National Accreditation Committee, CAN, and Validation and Verification Bodies, LVV, along with the emerging National Carbon Registry and Data Integration Hub that provide a single trusted system for monitoring emission, verifying reduction, and issuing certified credit. To safeguard market integrity, Indonesia has also formed a multi-agency risk management and safeguard task force. Distinguished guests, a just and inclusive transition lies at the heart of Indonesia climate governance. National policy ensure that economy and social dimension of the transition are equally prioritized with the environmental outcomes. Our approach is built upon inclusive governance framework that empower vulnerable groups, indigenous people, and women to participate in climate decision making. Through the benefit sharing mechanism under RETD Plus and result-based payment program like the Kalimantan FCPF Carbon Fund and Jambi Biocarbon Fund, Indonesia ensure that revenue from carbon transaction directly benefit local communities. Gender equity and social inclusion are embedded in climate budgeting and project design. Women and youths are key beneficiaries of capacity building program focusing on climate entrepreneurship, renewable energy, and sustainable land management. In essence, Indonesia carbon governance is not only about reducing emission, but also about ensuring that the transition towards a green economy. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some valuable lessons that can be drawn from Indonesia in leveraging carbon market, innovative finance, and nature-based solution to accelerate emission reduction, such as building a credible and transparent carbon market. Indonesia operationalized its domestic carbon market on 26 September 2023 through the Indonesia Stock Exchange, followed by the launch of cross-border trading on 20 January 2025. This is so that credible carbon market require strong regulatory readiness, robust MRV, and a secure national carbon registry. Integrating nature-based solution and biodiversity credit, Indonesia has pioneered this integration of carbon and biodiversity credit, enabling climate and conservation outcome to coexist. Project under RADD Plus and ecosystem restoration generate dual benefit, reducing emission while protecting biodiversity. This dual credit model increase the environment value of the project and attract ESG focused investor aligning carbon finance with global sustainability goal. Leveraging innovative finance and result-based payment, Indonesia long-standing participation in result-based payment (RBP) mechanism, such as at the Kalimantan FCPF Carbon Funds, as a number $110 million and the Jambi Biocarbon Fund as a number $70 million. Institutionalizing safeguards and risk management. This includes prevention of double counting, overcrediting, cybercrime, and financial fraud, supported by digital system certified under ISO standard. The country also established a carbon trade risk management task force. Mobilizing private sector and regional leadership. As one of the world's largest nature carbon credit suppliers, Indonesia aims to become the ASEAN hub for carbon market with growing domestic and international demands. Strengthen governance for Article 6 implementation. Indonesia is finalizing its technical guidance and derived regulation for next and preparing to submit it the host party participation (HPP) from under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Distinguished guests, in the light of the global stocktake, Indonesia recognizes the bridging the implementation gap and driving collective ambition under the Paris Agreement require both strong national leadership and deeper international cooperation. At the national level, Indonesia is institutionalizing into policy and fiscal framework with the second NDC and the LTS LCCR 2050. The government is also finalizing technical guidance and derived regulation under the carbon economic value framework, as well as advancing its readiness for Article 6 implementation, ensuring that host party participation (HPP) from an associated governance mechanism are submitted and operational by December 2025. On the international front, Indonesia continue to strengthen bilateral and multilateral partnership through Mutual Recognition Agreement (MRA) for carbon credit interoperability. Through leadership within ASEAN and the Global South, Indonesia advocate for an equitable global framework that ensure that fair access to climate finance, technology, and market. We believe that inclusive and transparent carbon governance supported by mutual trust and integrity is essential to accelerate the collective journey toward achieving the goal of the Paris Agreement. Thank you very much. Obrigado.
Thank you, Pak Menteri. Now the second one is Pak Rohmat Marzuki, the Vice Minister of Forestry of Republic Indonesia. You can start to deliver your message.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. His Excellency Hanif Faisal Nur Rafiq, Minister of Environment of Republic of Indonesia. Her Excellency Rachel Kite, Special Representative for Climate of the United Kingdom. Thank you. His Excellency Josh Wilson, the Assistant Minister of Climate Change and Energy, Australia. Thank you. distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to deliver this statement on behalf of the Minister of Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, who conveys his warm regards and appreciation to all participants of this ministerial dialogue. Firstly, please allow me to express my sincere gratitude for this timely event, which underscores the importance of strengthening international cooperation in carbon governance, held during the opening day of the Indonesia Pavilion at COP30 UNFCCC. I would also like to take this opportunity to convey my highest appreciation to His Excellency Bapak Hasim Joyo Hadikusumo, the Special Envoy of the President of the Republic of Indonesia on Climate and Energy, for his unwavering guidance and leadership. His vision and continuous support have played a pivotal role in advancing Indonesia's climate and forestry agenda. One of the most important milestones under his guidance is the issuance of Presidential Regulation number 110 in 2025 on carbon economic value, which reaffirms that Indonesia's forestry sector holds a strategic role in providing high integrity carbon credits. The President regulation ensures that carbon markets deliver direct benefit to local communities through mechanisms such as social forestry schemes and critical land rehabilitation programs. It enables communities who conserve and manage forests to gain tangible income from their stewardship. To translate this policy into practice, the Ministry of Forestry is now preparing for derivative regulation to strengthen carbon market governance. This includes revision to Ministerial Regulation number 7 in 2023 on carbon trading procedures in the forestry sector. And then number 8 in 2021 on forest zoning and the preparation of forest management plans, as well as the utilization of forests in protection and production forest areas. And number 9 in 1991 on the management of social forestry, as well as a new regulation on the utilization of environmental services within conservation area. Together, this regulation will provide a solid legal foundation for a transparent, credible, and effective carbon market system in Indonesia. In parallel, our collaboration with international partners continues to deepen. Last October, we reached an important milestone through the signing of an MOU between the Ministry of Forestry and the International Emission Trading Association, IETA. And 2 days ago, we signed a MOU with Integrity Council for the Voluntary Carbon Market, ICVCM. This partnership established a framework for capacity building, technical cooperation, and knowledge exchange to support the design and the implementation of Indonesia's carbon market. It also strengthens private sector participation and enhances Indonesia's engagement with global market stakeholders. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all of those awards are fully aligned with the national vision articulated by President Prabowo Subianto toward the Golden Indonesia in 2045. Among its central pillars are food security and environmental stewardship, two intertwined foundations upon which Indonesia's sustainable and prosperous future will be built. These are not abstract aspirations, but mandates for real transformation, calls to reform our institution, modernize our governance, and align economic progress with environmental integrity. To realize this vision, the Ministry of Forestry has set in motion 5 flagship programs that serve as our strategic compass. The first, digitalization of forest services, harnesses technology to strengthen transparency and accountability in every process. The second, equitable forest management ensures inclusivity through the recognition of customary rights and community-based stewardship. The third, forest as a source of food security, promotes innovative agroforestry system and sustainable use of non-timber forest products to enhance rural livelihoods. The fourth, preserving Indonesia's forests as the lungs of the world reinforces our long-standing commitment to conservation and rehabilitation. And finally, the One Map policy provides an integrated spatial foundation to reduce land conflict and guide green investment in Indonesia. Those programs collectively reflect Indonesia's determination to balance economic growth with environmental responsibility. Our success in forest fire mitigation exemplifies this commitment. From 2.8 million hectares of burned land in 2015, we have reduced the figure to only 213,000 hectares in 2025. A transformation achieved through an early warning system, rapid coordination, and multi-stakeholder cooperation. At the same time, we are modernizing our 57 national parks, integrating digital monitoring systems, improving safety standards, and promoting sustainable ecotourism. Large-scale restoration projects further demonstrate the spirit of progress. For the example, $150 million restoration partnership in Waikambas National Park, Lampung, for instance, is projected to create 750 jobs and generate $450 million in economic value while protecting the endangered Sumatran elephant. Similarly, the Pesangan Elephant Conservation Initiative in Aceh with UK and WWF, established on 20,000 hectares, a land donated by President Prabowo, safeguard 100 wild elephants, and fosters coexistence between people and wildlife. Through such reform, Indonesia is transforming the carbon economic value of forests into a new engine of green and inclusive growth. This direction is further reinforced by the President's bold commitment to rehabilitate 10 until 12 million hectares of degraded and critical land, demonstrating Indonesia's strong political will to restore ecosystem and enhance carbon sinks. Aligned with Indonesia's energy transition, we are also advancing bioenergy innovation, particularly through sugar palm-based bioethanol, with an estimated potential of 24 million kiloliters. This initiative will not only accelerate renewable energy adoption, but also reduce fuel imports by up to 50%. At the heart of our inclusive approach lies social forestry, which grants legal access for communities to manage forests sustainably. Today, 8.4 million hectares have been allocated, benefiting 1.4 million households and creating 5.6 million green jobs nationwide. Equally significant is our commitment to the recognition of customary forests, ensuring justice and empowerment for customary or adat in Indonesia communities. The Customary Forest Task Force, established earlier this year, has already facilitated the recognition of 70,688 hectares with a target of 1.4 million hectares by 2029. All these initiatives are closely aligned with Indonesia's Volunetzing 2030 commitment to ensure that by 2030, our forestry and land use sector will absorb more carbon than it emits. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, looking ahead, the Ministry of Forestry stands ready to work hand in hand with our international partners to shape a trusted, transparent, and high-integrity carbon market, one that delivers meaningful climate action while empowering people and preserving nature. In this spirit, Indonesia's forestry sector envisions itself as a global carbon hub where high-quality carbon credits from sustainably managed forests can contribute to global climate ambition while promoting local prosperity. Our forests, sustaining biodiversity, water resources, and livelihood for millions, are ready to serve as a cornerstone of equitable and impactful climate action. With this, I conclude my remarks and I thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency Rohmat Marzuki. So now I will invite the international friend from Honorable Rachel Kite for UK Special Representative for Climate.
Assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to be here in the Indonesia Pavilion in Belém at COP30. And it's very important that we're here because we're talking about an extraordinary, fast-paced transition of carbon governance in a country to whom we owe a huge debt of gratitude for its protection of its forests and for whom we will be a practical partner in the years to come because we all depend on what you will be able to do over the next years. And we're here because, as President Lula said, this is the truth COP. So this is the COP where we hold each other to account for what we said we were going to do, that we are struggling to do, and we have to call out and point to the lessons of success and say, let's do more of that. And we have to be able to say, okay, we're not going fast enough here. How do we rally around to go faster? And this is really the COP then about accelerating implementation, and it's only done in partnership, which is why I am here today. So I'm grateful to Indonesia for filing its NDC just a few days ago. Thank you. And like many other countries, it shows that there's much more work to be done. So we have to wrestle with the emissions that come from our economies and from our industrial processes, and we have to be able to protect the forests, which are so important, not just to Indonesia, for the rest of the world. I also want to commend Indonesia on its leadership by making a decision to invest in the TFFF. I hope that the United Kingdom, which said not now, but not no never, will join you in the due course. No, I think it's really important that leadership comes from every continent now. It's long ago that leadership came from just one hemisphere or from one region. And I think that's a powerful message to bring out of this COP. What I've seen our partners in Indonesia doing over the last year, building on work that had been done previously, is really begin to put in place, as we've heard from my friend, the Minister, and from the Vice Minister, all of the building blocks of how we will be able to project confidence to investors and project developers that this is a place where you can build a high-integrity carbon business based on the integrity and the management of the patrimony of the world's forests, which Indonesia protects for us, and that we will be able to, on that basis, bring streams of revenue into the future bioeconomy of Indonesia and the advancement and the prosperity that all Indonesians deserve. We are a partner to Indonesia in this because London is, I think already, but we aspire for it to be, the green financial centre, certainly of the Western Hemisphere, where green bonds, blue bonds, the carbon markets are alive and well, and where we can bring not only project development, but financial engineering, the legal basis, and all of the other attendant parts of what it means to be in a market which is well regulated and in a market which is of high integrity, that we can bring the whole of London, representing the financial acumen of the United Kingdom, to bear to support Indonesia's growth. Also because we have, together with our partners in Singapore and Kenya, been building a coalition to grow carbon markets, which is focused on all of the things that the government needs to do in every country to make clear to the private sector that its role in the voluntary carbon markets is needed, wanted, appreciated, incentivized, and eventually regulated. And coming out of this COP, I believe we're seeing strong signals from the Brazilian presidency about the alignment of compliance markets. We're seeing strong signals about the need to align taxonomies around the world, and we're seeing a stimulation of the voluntary carbon markets, as well as then the ongoing conversations about implementing Article 6. So we believe that there is high integrity behavior on the demand side of the voluntary markets, and we're really pleased to see the agreement with ICVCM and Indonesia, because we're very proud of the extraordinary work that ICVCM has done since the Glasgow COP just 4 years ago. We are working on an Indonesian strategic partnership which is being signed and which has been negotiated at the level of President Prabowo and Sir Keir Starmer. And this shows a political commitment to a partnership, and at its center is the clean growth of Indonesia, and at the center of that is the work that we're doing together on growing the carbon markets. I think it's also very important to see the extraordinary work across government that's being done on all of the different regulations, the decrees, the signals, the incentives that are being put in place, and also to see that the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Forestry's efforts to really drive the biodiversity and conservation angles in carbon market design. And I just was very lucky to have another meeting with my dear friend Pak Hashim, the envoy from Indonesia, talking about growing the blue carbon markets as well. So here we are in a country which is in transition, a country which has extraordinary challenges ahead, but is determined to try to build a high integrity market with all of its facets. And if we are able to help them to do so, we will all benefit. And this is a complicated story. It's a story where the simple explanations don't really reflect what this is all about, and where simple stories can actually distort what is really the real aim of what we're trying to do. And so this is one of those stories that needs to come out of this COP into the global public, so that the public know that these kinds of new markets are actually going to be for their benefit. So we would like to see work on effective pricing of carbon spreading out over much more of the world's emissions. We would like to see effective pricing of carbon through trading schemes, compliance markets, taxes, whichever way. It is remarkable to me that at 10 years after Paris, Lord knows how many years after the first Rio conference, that we're still struggling to put in place the most effective and efficient market signals and economic policies that will allow us to value that which should be valued and to drive out of our economy that which is polluting. As we look forward, we've got very important discussions next year on aviation, CORSIA, regulations, etc. This is a central tenet of modern economic policy. This is not something, this is not a market that is done on a voluntary basis only by sort of crazy environmentalists who just spend their lives in far-flung parts of the world. This is central economic policy. We need to bring it in from the cold, and the United Kingdom is proud to be Indonesia's partner in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. The last message will be delivered from Honorary Josh Wilson, the Assistant Minister for Climate Change and Energy of Australia. Time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies. Selamat siang. Assalamu alaikum. It's lovely to be with you. I have the difficult task of being the fourth speaker. My three ministerial colleagues have said some wonderful things, and I don't want to repeat that. I do want to say what an honour it is to join this event in the Indonesian pavilion. Indonesia is such a significant friend and partner to Australia. And so it's an honour for me to be here representing our Minister for Climate Change and Energy, Chris Bowen, who gives his apologies for not being here today. As Special Envoy Kite indicated, we've got this massive challenge. We've got the biggest challenge really that's faced humankind, and it requires the biggest systemic and industrial transformation that humankind has ever undertaken. And in order to do that best, in order to do that the way that is required, we need effective governance. To a lot of people, that's incredibly boring. If I'm sitting at a dinner table or at a water cooler or catching up with young people, and I say, let me tell you about governance, I find that I'm standing by myself very quickly. But the truth is that governance is all of the things that we have to have. Governance is the roadmap, it's the quality assurance mechanism, it's the safety net, and it's the mirror by which we are held accountable, by which we hold ourselves accountable, by which our communities hold us accountable, and hopefully by which they have faith in the actions that we're taking on their behalf. Now, the overarching governance is evident all around us. It's the UNFCCC, it's Kyoto first and then Paris, and now this COP process. And we need to double down in making that process as vital and constructive and effective as we can make it at a time when there are multilateral challenges. But then, of course, there's governance at the national level and the interface between the two things. The way that we pioneer things at the national level and then share and collaborate internationally. And Australia has gone on that journey, and it's a journey that will go for some period of time and loop back on itself, because the size of the challenge is so large. Sometimes we describe it by saying that we need to do everything everywhere all at once, and we need to have governance systems that allow that, but we also need those governance systems to evolve and to keep getting better, to remain agile and dynamic as we go. Now, in Australia, of course, we have governance on emissions reduction. We bring our NDC commitment into our Australian frameworks. The NDC commitment itself is made on advice of the Climate Change Authority, an independent body that lets the government know what it believes is the ambitious and achievable target, and we've adopted that in September. At the same time as we accepted our first national climate risk assessment and a new national adaptation plan. We have governance in relation to our energy transition. We have the Australian Energy Market Operator and the Australian Energy Market Commission that helps tell us what it is that we need to do as we track towards 82% renewables by 2030. As we continue the journey that we've been on for some time when it comes to distributed energy in our towns and cities and neighbourhoods and households. And then we have governance when it comes to abatement and sequestration. So there's been a lot of talk about carbon markets. We do operate one of the largest, highest quality, high integrity carbon markets in the world, the Australian Carbon Credit Unit system. And I'm glad to have responsibility for that system, and that's a critical part of what we're doing. We then need to take that governance and look at the lessons to be learned from partner countries and multilaterally and share that information. We do that through ASEAN, the ASEAN Energy Ministers meeting that I attended recently, and we do it in direct bilateral partnerships. We have a climate infrastructure investment partnership with Indonesia, Kinetic, We have a clean energy and clean industry partnership with the UK. And then we bring those things to gatherings like this, and we try and find the resolution that is necessary to make sure that we deliver what our communities expect and what the world deserves, which is an effective reduction of emissions so that we can have a livable climate, so that we can have a safe planet. And in order to do that, we need to deliver on our promises. And I go back to the plenary and all of the incredible contributions that were made, but one of them that stuck with me was from Laurent Fabius, and he said, it's time to implement, baby, implement. And that's something that we need to do. So Australia will continue to do that on our own terms. We'll continue to do it in partnership with countries like Indonesia, certainly the UK, with the ASEAN region and with the globe. And we want to take that one step further next year. We want to bring the world from the green lungs of the planet here in the Amazon to the blue Pacific continent and take that focus and that work that we've done together to the next step. So we hope to do good work together over the next 2 weeks, and then we hope to do good work with you in 2026 at COP31 in partnership with the Pacific in Adelaide. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, thank you for the excellent message from the Minister in terms of accelerating climate action through enhancing international cooperation of carbon governance. So because this is not dialogue, this is message, so I think I should, with thank up for all of you, I should close this session for now and I return to the MC. Thank you very much and see you next session here in Indonesian Pavilion.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, for the wonderful insights and for sharing your perspectives in our beautiful pavilion. Thank you very much for your time. Terima kasih, Pak Agus, for moderating the session. I guess we've come to the end of our program today. Let's call it a day. But I encourage you to revisit Indonesia Pavilion again tomorrow, as it offers a great opportunity to learn from insightful discussions, and there will be a forum for carbon trading as well tomorrow, networking events, cultural performances, and of course, not to forget, some Indonesian delicacies for you to taste throughout the day. So with that, I conclude Indonesia Pavilion for day 1 in COP30. I shall see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest and goodbye. Thank you.